110% sure he plays this just to mess with me.
Just to mess with you.
I know he does.
Actually, well, the stuff that I played last week, if you had been here or about to call in, was all your stuff.
Yeah, he did.
And
we joked about it last week because St. Paul wasn't in studio.
So wait. So that
we played
means
all your stuff.
That means you can play it.
Not anymore.
No. See, I found it. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. None of it's labeled.
Well,
So
It was hilarious. Was it the open for the show?
Yeah, it's open.
When we played the one that made it the reference to big giant male genitalia in the sky.
Yep.
That's how we opened the show. Because we don't know what is what.
Yeah,
None of
you
them's
should.
labeled.
That's the only one that you should really care about labeling. It's an open
no.
from the movie Kick-Ass.
There's another one too that I did.
Yeah, there was another one too. Yeah.
That was not.
Outlaw Radio Network. Thanks for checking out the show.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
September 22nd.
It is the 22nd. My goodness, golly gracious, this month is going fast.
You know, this whole year went by.
Jolly G. Willikers. Kevin, how are you this evening?
Look, everybody, it's St. Paul, the voice of reason.
Kapow.
Now, for those of you who don't remember Paul, because it's been
don't do it.
so long since we've seen him in studio, this is Paul. He's my co-host. He comes and sits in studio, and he does a radio show with me. Hi, Paul. Anyway.
Listen, how can you not be a man, live in the Pacific Northwest, experience the weekend that we have had here, and not be in just a phenomenally great mood?
I'm in a great mood. And in fact, I'm in a great mood for more reasons than you're in a great mood.
Really? That's probably true because I
Actually-
actually had a horrible week.
I know you did. I know. Well, I'll let you decide if you want to get into that. Before you do that, though, can I
please.
Can I bless the listeners with what's on tap for tonight's show?
Please do, sir.
And then what is on tap for the middle of October? Because I am so stoked that we can finally announce a date. But first,
Not like you have a date.
no.
Just checking.
No.
I was looking for
Let's
clarification.
not live in La La Land. Coming up on tonight's show, so here's the deal. The first hour, we're going to catch up on what's going on around the world. There's a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. Paul's got some topics. Because he didn't show up last week, he's been able to bank some stuff.
And we'll get into why later, and
Yeah.
then the ramifications, results thereof. So
that'll be that. At 8 o'clock, we're going to be joined. Desi, what's his name again? Josh Holiday, right? Okay, I want to make sure I had his name right. Josh Holiday was on American Idol last season. He was the number 21 contestant. He made the top 24. He made it to Hollywood. He was number 21, right, Desi? He's got a new album dropping on Tuesday. He's on the show tonight at 8 o'clock. So we're going to talk with Josh, and we're going to ask him a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to ask him about Idol. We're going to ask him about the new album. We're going to ask him about the whole process. Did Idol help him? Did it hurt him? Everything. We're going to get into the whole conversation. I'll be honest. It could be a 10-minute interview. It could be an hour interview.
well, we'll see. We'll see what
I
kind
have
of mood
no
he's in.
idea.
I really want to pick his brain and see what it was like for him being on the show. You know, especially when you see that their main competitor, the X Factor. I don't even want to call him a competitor because they're on at two different times of the year. But the headlines coming out about the X Factor this week. X Factor dead before the show even gets going. The ratings are so in the tank right now.
Yeah.
So anyway,
And the voice has done really well.
The Voice is doing very well.
But I want to ask him too. You know, there's all that press noise about the backstage quarrels last year between Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey, and there was all that. I'm going to ask him, did he see that as a contestant? Was there any of that? Was there any indication of that? You know, we're just going to ask him everything. By the way, for those of you who care about Idol, neither one of them are back next year.
correct.
Yeah, Keith Urban will be back. Randy Jackson will be back.
Well, really, I thought
Randy Jackson is coming back this year.
Is he? He's only coming back because Keith Urban's coming back. Listen, there was only one real judge on that show last year, and that was Keith Urban.
Yeah.
Even Randy Jackson had...
Randy Jackson wasn't there last year, by the way.
Last year? Yes,
last
he
year,
was.
Randy Jackson was gone last year.
No, he wasn't. He was sitting right next to Mariah Carey and
I
Nicki
thought
Minaj.
he was gone last year.
No,
I thought
so
he
you didn't
stepped away
watch.
No, I didn't watch last year.
Yeah,
the minute
see?
you put Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey on the same show together, I
It was
wasn't
bad.
going to watch it.
It was uncomfortable.
And I like
It was
Keith
so
Urban
bad.
because he's with Nicole Kidman and she's hot. And then so it'll be the two of them. Jennifer Lopez is coming back,
That won't be bad.
and Harry Connick Jr.
That will be good.
will be a judge.
That's
kind of a cool judging panel.
That
I
is a
can live
cool
with that.
judging panel. I like that. Harry Connick Jr. is a stud stud.
I can live with that. So it'll be interesting. But we'll ask Josh Holiday about all that. Like I said, it could be a 10-minute interview. It could be an hour interview. I mean, it just really depends how much stuff Josh is comfortable talking about. Now, we've been told he's not under any contract anymore with Idol, which tells me that he can talk about whatever he wants to talk about.
That's probably true.
So we'll ask him everything. Everything. And we'll get Josh's thoughts on Idol. We'll ask him about the changes. We'll ask him about his career. We'll ask him about the new album that's dropping. And I have word from Desi. Intern extraordinaire. The greatest intern
Wait, is it
we've ever
Desi
had.
or Dez?
I'm calling her Desi.
Because it's Dez. Short, Dez.
Call her whatever you want to.
It doesn't matter to me.
All right, just checking.
Call her whatever you want to. I call her Desi.
All right.
The greatest intern we've ever had.
The only intern we've
Mindy
ever had.
Byers could learn things from Desi. Anyway, I have heard that we actually have a line on a song from his upcoming album that nobody's heard that we're going to play here on the show tonight.
It sounds awesome. I'm just looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun interview.
Yeah.
I mean, no gotcha questions. It's not like Todd Best or the mayor are going to be on with us tonight.
No, we don't do gotcha questions with them anyway. 9 o'clock, Stephen Gardner is going to join us by phone. Now, normally, Stephen Gardner, political correspondent with the Kitsap Sun, joins us to talk politics. But nay, tonight is not the case. A couple weeks ago, we had Nathan Joyce, sports editor with the Kitsap Sun. He picked games in our guest picker contest with the NFL picks, and Nate did very well. Now, he tied for second with me. That was the week that Paul won. And Paul wasn't here last week to gloat about it, which means you can't gloat. But
I don't have
Stephen
to gloat.
Gardner,
Results speak for themselves.
Stephen Gardner believes he can do better than Nathan Joyce. And so tonight, we're not going to really talk politics, although I am going to give...
So the political reporter thinks he's going to do better than the sports reporter.
He is a Dodgers fan, by the way, and his Dodgers have done very well. So we're going to let Stephen Gardner join us, and Stephen Gardner is going to make his picks. My hope is... Well, we'll cover that in a minute. The big announcement is we talked before when we interviewed Patty Lent, current Bremerton mayor, and when we interviewed Todd Best, her competition, her challenger for the city of Bremerton mayor's office in the upcoming election. Mm-hmm. We asked both of them, we would like to have you both come in studio, sit at our round table, and just talk. No gotcha questions, no debate. No, we're not going to do that. They both did that with the Sun already. They've had a formatted debate. I think formatted debates are stupid. Just sit down and let's have a conversation. Your vision for the city of Bremerton, your opponent's vision for the city of Bremerton. Let's just have a conversation.
Well,
Give the listeners the opportunity to get to know you.
There you go. And that's it really in a nutshell. Get to know you on different levels. Political level, personal level, social level, personality, all that stuff.
Yeah. I'm not naive enough to think that they're not going to come in here with their campaign hats on. Because I'm sure that they will. But let's just have a loose, structured discussion. We have finally been able to work out a schedule that works for both of the candidates. They're going to join us in studio 7:30 on October 13th. My hope is it will be a 90-minute discussion. Now, I don't know that for a fact because really we're just going to play it by ear. I don't want to pin them down to times. I don't want to leave it up. You know, we're going to have phone lines open because they're both in studios. We can take phone calls. We're going to be able just to play it by ear and discuss everything. We can discuss East Bremerton's development. We can discuss downtown. We can discuss the B&O tax. We can discuss city funding. We can discuss paying your employees. We can discuss layoffs. We can discuss everything. And we're going to have them both in studio. I could not be more excited. And on a personal note, and I think I speak for Paul, if I'm not,
go ahead.
Shut your mouth and just go along with me. This is what we've always wanted to be on this show and what we've always wanted to give to our community, which is the opportunity to do what nobody else is doing. We don't want to format a debate. We just want a discussion. Nobody wants to hear bickering and arguing. People want to hear ideas and resolutions and a conversation. And we now have the opportunity to do that. So thanks to Todd Best, the challenger, Bremerton Mayor Patty Lent, for agreeing to come on for what I think is a very unique opportunity to give the residents of Bremerton the chance to hear what both sides bring to the table before you cast that mail-in ballot. October 13th, Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. until whenever we're done. And my hope is, although I haven't proposed this to them, they'll both stick around at 9 o'clock and be our guest pickers. I think that would be horribly fun. But we haven't asked them yet.
Key part of that phrase being horribly. Yes, I
horribly
believe
fun. They're going to be great.
No, listen,
I will agree to cast my vote on whoever picks better the NFL games. I won't, but I think
really?
It'll be fun. No, not at all.
I mean, I know a lot of people that used that mentality when they voted in the last presidential election, so it wouldn't surprise me.
How did Barack Obama do in a Sweet 16 poll?
I didn't say anything about Barack Obama. I said I know a lot of people that. I'm going to bet on that horse because of the color of his blanket. I mean,
anyway, I'm just excited. I think it's going to be a great evening with us, talking with both of them, and more importantly for me, the phone lines will be open. So we're going to be able to leave the lines open people can call in.
There's a couple of things that we're going to do. We're going to leave the lines open. Mm-hmm. We're also going to post the days leading up to the interview. We're going to post the questions on our Facebook pages and ask people that are familiar with us, listen to the show and stuff like that. And some of them, let's be honest, a lot of people don't like to call in because there's this nasty rumor that St. Paul tends to belittle and rail on people. And I don't know where that came from.
Only if you're lesbians from
but
Stanford.
It's not true. But so what we're going to do is we're going to open it up on Facebook for people to ask questions as well.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say before we get into topics, I want to give a shout out to, and I'm biased because it's my church, but I do want to give a shout out to Capital Christian Center Port Orchard. They had a very public picnic down on the waterfront in downtown Port Orchard today at the waterfront park. It poured, it rained like the Dickens, but a very nice event. And kudos to Tim Mathis, Mayor of Port Orchard, for coming out. Not only did he come out, but he was there for the entire event. Come rain, come shine. He stayed out there for the whole thing. He didn't treat it as a campaign stop, or he just hung out. It was very cool. And talked to Tim Mathis a couple times. Tim Mathis actually said that it's going to clear up about 1. It cleared up at 1:30, and he said later, I think we're going to see a rainbow. And I swear to God, if we didn't get a rainbow at about 4:15 or so. So kudos to Tim Mathis for coming out. Nice job done by the church. It was a good time. Free hot dogs and popcorn and face paint and stuff for all the kids, and it was a good time. So. Kudos to the folks out of Capital Christian Center Port Orchard. It was a good time. So let's switch gears. Let's move in now. A whole bunch of stuff has gone on the last several weeks since we've had a chance to talk with Paul.
A lot.
And I want to give you the opportunity to tell me what is on your mind, as we have really an hour of hard news stuff to get to before we get into our interview with Josh Holiday in the 8 o'clock hour.
Well, let's start with one of the most two pressing and breaking issues.
Yes.
One, is we have an interesting set of circumstances that have arisen out of what's going on in Syria. Mm-hmm. With regards to the chemical weapons and rounding them up and disposing of them, mm-hmm. and the Russian interaction there. We also had an incredibly grisly, sad set of circumstances unfold in Kenya.
Yes,
where Al Qaeda terrorists attacked a mall there. And these are just the first two that I wanted to get to because I think that they are the most serious with regards to human life, literally. So, mm-hmm. How much have you had a chance to follow, or have you been following the sets of circumstances, literally the outs that have been given to Bashar al-Assad lately? For example, he's made the statement, well, we're going to turn all of our chemical weapons over. We're going to turn them over to the Russians, but the United States has to pay for it. We want the U.S. to pay for our disposal of our chemical weapons. That was a good one, I thought. And then another one was the issue about their timeline and how they've already skipped one of the timelines that was set. They had till the end of last week. They had to provide an entire list, basically an accounting for of all of their chemical weapons. Sure. Now, former Rep. Dennis Kucinich, very left-leaning liberal Democrat, former U.S. Senator from Ohio, I believe, who actually, for those of you in Washington State, he came out here to look and see if Washington State would be a good place for him to run for office, which I thought was funny. Well, it's just that idea. Well, if I can't win in this district, I'll just move.
I'll just move.
Anyway, he with a crew from Fox News, okay, because he is a Fox News contributor, went to Syria and did an interview with Bashar al-Assad. And Kucinich this afternoon today on the Sunday morning shows made it very clear. He said, listen, no governing body up to this point, put everything aside about the political interaction with Russia, how Obama has handled this and everything else. And this goes right along with what the point that I was making a couple weeks ago. Nobody has been able to show who used the chemical weapons. Now, some people say we know that it was Bashar Assad's regime. Well, how is it that you know it? And the people
nobody else knows.
And the people that are supposed to know and prove it don't.
Yeah.
You don't know it. So anytime I want you, if you're listening to this show, anytime you hear anybody on TV say, we know the Bashar al-Assad regime used chemical weapons on it. No, you don't.
Right.
No, you don't. You assume it. You want to believe that it's true. You think that it's true. You, in fact, need it to be true in order to probably support your own personal opinion on whatever. But the fact is that nobody in the United Nations, all they know is that chemical weapons were used. And they literally cannot draw a conclusion from the evidence they had as to who used it. Because the reality here is that it is equally as likely that it was Bashar al-Assad and his troops that used the chemical weapons, or it's equally as likely that the rebels used captured chemical munitions in order to make it look like Bashar al-Assad used them, thereby trying to draw the United States into the conflict. So, again, you have to ask yourself to me, the motives weigh much heavier that the rebels were the ones that used it. If you're Bashar al-Assad, and you know that if you use this, there's going to be nasty consequences. So why do you use them? At the time, they were winning the war. So, it just, again, I don't know who used it or who didn't use it. The point is, somebody used it, and we don't know who. So how guilty are we if we then just go in there and start lobbing, rockets and bombs and everything else? So, you?
Well, listen, I get back to a conversation you and I had several weeks ago on this show, which was that that essentially, if we were going to put any kind of boots on the ground, that it was to be completely neutral and get innocents out of the way of the fighting from both sides. So,
and I still stand by that comment.
However, I will say this: the points you raised about the chemical weapons, I think, is a really important point to keep in mind. Which is, you're absolutely right. Nobody has been able to verify who's used the chemical weapons. And look, there's no fingerprint. There's no way to trace this. All that you know is there's people in rebel-held areas that have been killed by the use of toxic gas, which could either be Assad's group using them against the rebels, or the rebels using them to strike up international outrage to get some backing. It's not the first time you've seen false flag attacks. So I don't know.
Which is exactly what this could have been, and I guess my thing is, and you're gonna look at me and you're gonna say, I can't believe you're saying that. No, what I was gonna say is, I get why Obama drew his red line. I understand that. I have no problem with him drawing that red line. The problem is that when you're the most powerful country on earth and you draw a red line in the sand, you got to do something. You can't just sit back and say, I'm going to move that red line just a little bit further. You can't do it and maintain credibility on the world stage. It just doesn't work. I mean, I think you would agree with that.
No, I agree. And here was the saving grace. Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. The saving grace for Obama came at the fact that the Soviets stepped in.
I agree.
And acted as an intermediary. Mm-hmm. Because had the Soviets not really stepped in and said, okay, let's work with the Syrians to try to help broker something here, then Obama really would have been backed into a corner.
And
because the Syrians were not going to negotiate with Obama. They were not going to agree to give up anything to Obama. They were not going to agree to stop anything. The Soviets had to come in and make that happen. So if the Soviets hadn't said, okay, we're going to go to the Syrians on behalf of this idea that Obama's put out there and try to stop something before it gets out of hand, then Obama was left with two opportunities, right?
Yep.
Opportunity number one, put boots on the ground or missiles in the air and strike the Syrians and risk an escalation, or number 2, do nothing and completely discredit his administration internationally when they put their foot down and say, don't do this or we'll do this. So Putin kind of bailed Obama's ass out.
Right.
That being said, I still think, as we debated on my Facebook page, and I know you disagree with me, I still think Obama can take some credit. Not a large amount of credit, but I still think Obama can take some credit in the fact that he did put his foot down and say, get this handled or we're going to do something. And it led to a resolution. Because I think that the Russians wouldn't have gotten involved had we not been saber rattling, saying, do something or we're going to do something.
Well, and contrary to let's a guy like Karl Rove, Mr. Here's my sabers. I'm going to rattle them. I got $1 for you.
You sounded very much, here's my sabers. I'm gonna rattle. Very much like George H.W. Bush.
The problem I have with a guy like Karl Rove is he goes out there and what he says, he wants you to take it as though it's gospel. And again, I heard him this morning talking about how one of the things that has come out from this is that the newly elected Iranian president has come out publicly and said that he wishes to come to the table and speak to the United States. Now, I'm going to say this,
right,
and a lot of conservatives are going to rip my head off for this. That's not a bad thing, okay? Just like it wouldn't be a bad thing if the North Koreans wanted to come to the table and legitimately talk. You cannot, in the world of international diplomacy, in my opinion, have the leader of a country that you're not on good terms with come out and say, hey, we'd like to sit down at the table and talk to you, and say, hey, really? Goff. I'm sorry, that doesn't work.
Right.
And I give the administration credit for not or for being willing to do that. I think that listen, you want peace in the world? Peace doesn't happen when you tell people we're not talking to you until you do X, Y, and Z. Okay? Which is Karl Rove's point of view. We won't talk to you until you meet these conditions. Man, I'm sorry. It's just that's what leads to war. It does. It leads to war, and it leads to the death of more young American men and women. And let's be honest, it's the death of American men and women because nobody else picks up the slack like we do, and that's just the reality of it.
But that is part of what Obama was talking about before and again he took a lot of heat from conservatives and a lot of heat from Republicans when he talked about the arrogance of American foreign policy and his administration was issuing apologies. And I'm not saying they should have issued apologies, but that's what he was talking about, was the arrogance of American foreign policy.
It's not what he said, though. It's how he did it.
No, I agree. But I'm just speaking about schematically what he was talking about.
Yeah,
that's what he's talking about, which is the idea, well, we won't negotiate with you until you have met our demands to negotiate. And when you're a nation like Iran or North Korea or Syria, you derive more power within your people and your allies and your peers by giving us the finger than you do capitulating and meeting us in the middle.
Yeah, and listen, it's the problem with American foreign policy has over the last 50 years, since World War II, since we established ourselves as the world power, okay, has been that we've been always willing to lead with our right punch and then follow with an uppercut. And I get that. I don't actually have a problem with that. I believe in peace through strength. I believe that we have to be perceived as the strongest, baddest mofos on planet Earth. Yep. I believe that that's what allows us to keep the peace so many places around this planet. And if you disagree with me, that's fine, but I'd like you to prove me wrong on that one. And I know that we're going to go to break, right?
In a minute, yeah.
Yep, okay. So I'm going to keep this really short and just say it like this. American foreign policy cannot be the president going around on national TV in different nations and apologizing for what douchebags we've been. Foreign policy can consist of the president saying, hey, listen, I know we've pushed you a little bit, but it's been for the betterment of everybody. Now let's go ahead and sit down and talk.
Sure.
You know what I mean? There's a difference between leadership and kowtowing. I believe, this is why I disagree so much with this president on so many of his foreign policy issues, is because he's willing to literally throw his country under the bus for the betterment of his relations with foreign leaders and dignitaries.
Right.
And that's what I have a problem with.
Right. And again, I'm not even getting into what he did. I'm just speaking more the specific example of why.
Right.
And the Rove doctrine.
So right concept, I think we could both agree. Right concept, wrong path.
Yeah, we'll debate the path at a later time, but definitely the right concept, which is that idea.
There's nothing wrong with trying to make friends.
Right.
I don't have an issue with that. I'm fine with that.
That idea doesn't work. Although, in the next half hour, I think we're going to migrate over to what happened in Kenya.
We are.
In the next half hour, I'm going to tell you why I totally twist that in a whole 180-degree direction when we talk about what happened in Kenya.
And I'm going to leave it at this. In a nutshell, under the surface, American foreign policy revolves around one very simple concept: walk quietly, carry a big stick.
Teddy.
So I put my heart and soul into. That's why I served. That's why you served. We always want to be the good guys. And since the music hasn't started playing yet, I'm going to leave us with one final story.
Yeah.
This has to do with Iran. Did you hear the story about the F-22 Raptor pilot and the Iranian Air Force pilot this last week?
No.
It actually happened in March. The Iranian fighter pilot came within 16 miles of a U.S. drone. Now, top-notch, good stuff out of Iran is an F-4 Phantom. By the way, that was our big stuff during Vietnam. The F-22 Raptor pilot approached and got so close without the F-4 Iranian pilot knowing. He got underneath of him, observed, counted, and photographed his ordnance, then slowly swept up to the left-hand side of him, looked at him, clicked on a squawk button, and said, "It's time for you to leave." And it's all on video.
Outstanding. All right, we'll talk Kenya. If you haven't heard about this, you need to read up on it.
It's sad.
Back after this.
Get outlawed.
The Legacy Group in Silverdale is a well-respected independent mortgage banker, absolutely committed to helping Kitsap County families on their path to home ownership. As an employee-owned company, the Legacy Group has a strong stake in your success, and they want to be your lifetime partner in helping you develop a strong real estate portfolio. Call the Legacy Group in Silverdale today at 698-6440 and find out how they can help you get started on the road to home ownership. 698-6440 for the Legacy Group, a lending experience that's a little different and a lot smarter.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
The Kitsap Humane Society is an independent nonprofit committed to providing positive, life-changing solutions to people and companion animals. Our vision is that every adoptable animal has a home. In 2010, we rehomed 4,111 pets. For more information on our programs, services, and animals available for adoption, visit us on the web at kitsap-humane.org. Kitsap Humane Society. Rescue, rehabilitate, rehome.
The Home Buyers Association of Kitsap County is an association of professional builders, subcontractors, service providers, and purveyors representing the home building industry. For more than 50 years, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County has provided information, education, and services that promote the health and welfare of the home building industry. As leaders of the industry, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County fosters safe, affordable housing and addresses issues affecting our industry. To find out more, visit them online at kitsap.hba.com.
Did you know volunteering with the Bremerton Central Lions Club can be fun? Community services for everyone. Young people, families, men, women. As a volunteer, you'll help your community and gain valuable skills. Network with others. Energize your life. Make an impact and have fun. Get in step with your community and volunteer. Visit us at bremertoncentralwa.lionwap.org.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISPNsports.com, Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNsports.com.
Breaking news, by the way.
Really?
Burger King has come out with a French fry burger. Have you seen that?
A French fry burger?
Yeah, they put French fries on a hamburger, a cheeseburger. They call it a French fry burger.
That's disgusting.
That's what they call it.
I did that when I was little all the time.
Yeah. This segment brought to you by Burger
so
King.
good.
Burger King, try the new French fry burger, only $1 at your local Burger King. All right.
Disgusting. That is just disgusting.
It's a good thing they're not really a sponsor of this segment. You would totally kill any potential ad dollars from Burger King.
Do you want me to lie to save ad dollars? No, you don't. I wouldn't be who I am
Wait,
today.
you wouldn't say the Burger King $1 cheeseburger with French fries on it was delicious for an ad contract with Burger King?
Oh, no, I do that.
I'd
I'd totally sell out for that.
Yeah. Let's try this again. This segment brought to you by Burger King. Try the new French fry burger, only $1 at your local Burger King. Paul?
It better only be $1 because it sounds disgusting.
All right, let's switch gears as we go to talk about Kenya. Don't forget Josh Holiday, American Idol finalist from last season. He made the top 24 to Hollywood. Will be joining us in the next hour. Let's move on to Kenya. And if you haven't been following this, let's just give a very simple
Give the synopsis,
rundown.
brother. Give
Very simple rundown.
us your liberal democratic synopsis.
Okay, well, here we go then. 10 to 15 gunmen stormed a shopping mall outside of downtown Nairobi, Kenya. Now, I stress that this was outside of downtown because officials believed that because it was not in the main area of the city of Nairobi, that it was not going to be considered a target for terrorists.
Do you want to know what kind of a jerk I am?
What kind of a jerk are you?
My first thought was, they have malls in Kenya?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
clearly.
that makes me a jerk, doesn't it? Because it makes me think
Des
that
was thinking the same
That
thing.
was my thought too.
that in Kenya they don't have malls or something. I mean, it's not a third world. Oh no, wait,
It's a third
it
world.
wasn't a normal mall either. It was an upscale mall too.
was
yeah,
an
it was like
upscale mall.
three
Like
stories,
malls.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Catered to foreigners. There were hotels there. It was it really what I've heard the description of it reminds me a lot of what happened in Mumbai.
Yeah.
Where you had a lot of upscale malls, a lot of foreign influence, a lot of foreign money. And when you involve hotels, foreign money, then you're going to have places for them to spend it because that's how the country's going to make their money. And that's what happens. So 10 to 15 gunmen go into the mall. They spray bullets. They throw grenades. They start shooting people. Now, the death toll as of now is at 68. 175 people injured. As of right now, they're thinking about 10 people held hostage. They're not even sure of that. Kenyan security forces have been able to secure most of the mall, but not all of the mall. And the latest news out of this is that 3 of the alleged attackers, get this, are from the U.S. 2 from Somalia, 1 from Canada, 1 from Finland, 1 from Kenya, and 1 from the UK. The FBI is investigating whether or not any of the attackers are from the U.S., and they haven't been able to confirm it yet. But this is off of a Twitter site, which has since been taken down. The terrorist group Al-Shabaab.
Al-Shabaab, right?
Not to be confused with a shish kebab.
Well, and they're a direct Al Qaeda affiliate.
Yeah, has taken credit for it, and this is quite frankly not new. If you follow terrorists and terrorist actions, they find areas where there is a soft underbelly with little security and a whole bunch of innocent people to pay the price. We saw it in the bombings in Bali. We saw it in the bombings in Madrid. We saw it in the shootings and explosions in Mumbai.
Well, look,
and again, you see it here in Nairobi.
I think it's a bigger problem than that, and it speaks to a mentality, personally. Mm-hmm. And I know you're not going to like the fact that I'm going to draw this in conclusion with gun violence in America, but the reality here is that I think this just goes to illustrate that when people are set upon doing bad things, they will do what, Kevin? They will find the easiest target that will cause the most damage, and they will do it, one way or another.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with gun violence in this country and with mass shootings in this country. In fact, what's really interesting is we all know that in this country right now, the administration, and I don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not faulting them for saying we need to do something about guns, but please listen to what I'm saying. the reason what happened in Kenya disgusted me so much was one simple act, and that was that it's being reported widely that when the gunmen broke in, they would go from store to store and tell all the Muslims to get up and leave, and then shoot everybody that was left behind.
Mm-hmm.
And so point number one is anybody who thinks we're not at war against Islam, well, I'm not going to say you're stupid or wrong, but you are somewhat mistaken.
Naive, to say the least.
I think you need to come to terms with the idea that there are many facets, there are many sides to Islam, and many of those sides believe that killing infidels, killing anybody who's a non-Muslim, is not a bad thing. So I want you to please believe that. If you don't believe me, go to your local bookstore and buy a copy of the Quran and read it for yourself, because it's there in Arabic. Yeah. I couldn't help it. Anyway, next part of this equation for me. Okay, now we look at what happened. There was a Navy Yard shooting in Washington last week.
Yeah.
There was a shooting at a grade school in Newtown, Connecticut last year. There was a shooting at a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado a few months before that. Okay, there was another mass shooting over the weekend. Did you know about this?
This weekend there was?
Well, actually, I think it might have been Friday. It was Friday or Saturday.
Where was that one at?
Chicago. Downtown in a park.
Oh, I did hear about that at Baby. Another Baby shot. Yeah.
Well, it was a mass shooting.
Right.
There were like 30 people shot.
But Baby was one of them.
Right. My point is that you are going to be more susceptible. All of this is showing one thing to me. Mm-hmm. When you advertise that you are a good, caring, loving people and you are gun-free and nobody in this location has a gun, you're inviting people to put a target or a crosshair on you or on that location.
Right.
Now, the mainstream media, has not said jack squat about this shooting in Chicago over the weekend. Simply put, and this is my opinion, but I believe that they are not saying much about that because it hurts the agenda. It hurts the idea that gun-free cities and gun-free zones work, or gun-free school zones work. They don't work. They don't work. And the logic that gets espoused by people who try to convince us that it does, I think they're just misguided because they have this agenda. They think the world would be a better place if there were no guns, and they're not wrong for thinking that.
Right.
The world would be a better place if we had no guns, wouldn't it? Yes, of course it would. But we don't live in that kind of a world.
Sure.
We don't. Okay? And if we had no guns, crazy people or murderers would simply use swords or hatchets or bows and arrows. And they'd find other things. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, I guess that's my take on it. And those are the things that I draw of it. And it's a horrible, horrific story. And, God bless the people of Kenya that have had to go through this. There were a couple of Americans that survived the attack. I saw an interview with one on CNN this morning. And again, if you survived that attack, it was pure luck. And that attack, by the way, could happen anywhere in this country. Anywhere.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was going to draw a correlation to.
It could happen if you live in Kitsap County. It could happen at the Kitsap Mall tomorrow.
Well, it's one of the things I thought about. I mentioned earlier that I was at a church picnic today. It's one of the things I thought about today, is that it could happen at an event like that. Here's the thing that has struck me, Paul, and I want to know what you think about this. And I know that it struck you, the gun violence angle and all of that. The thing that struck me is, and I mentioned earlier that I'm going to take a little different angle from our earlier conversation about walking softly, carrying a big stick. Mm-hmm. It gets back to what I've said before in regards to our fight against terror. I think that we are definitely at war against Al-Qaeda and against fundamentalist Muslim extremists. And I think with that in mind, I think the United States has to be extremely proactive. I think the United States has to stop this idea of respecting borders.
Actually, I think Obama honestly has done a pretty good job of not respecting borders.
But I think we have to take it a different level.
Okay.
I think if the United States finds out that there is an Al-Qaeda cell that is in Libya, then the United States, as long as the intel is qualified and actionable, the United States can violate national airspace.
I think that's a dangerous slope.
I don't care. You take the cell out. And then after you take the cell out, after you've taken the sellout.
To beg for forgiveness.
No. Then you
sorry.
turn over your proof and your documentation to the country or countries whose airspace you violated, and you say, "Here is the proof. Here's what we had. Life sucks for you. We're sorry."
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Now that you've made that statement clear.
Yeah.
Does it bother you that a U.S. or cable news company was able to go into downtown Benghazi and find the guy that supposedly led the attack on the Benghazi consulate and interview him on TV, but yet we haven't been able to go in and arrest him and bring him out?
Yeah.
Because it bothers me.
But it's because it's politics. It's because it's politics, international politics.
How's it politics with a country that doesn't even really have much of a government yet?
But again, it's politics in the sense that we want to honor all these borders. We want to honor borders and laws and treaties and the UN and all of that. And at some point, we have to understand that we are now fighting a new kind of war. We're fighting a new kind of war against an enemy that doesn't respect civilians, doesn't respect borders, doesn't respect treaties, doesn't respect rules, doesn't respect civilians. So fine. If you want to hide, then we will come find you. And I don't care if you're hiding in Great Britain. I don't care if you're hiding in a suburb in New York. I don't care if you're hiding in Moscow. I don't care if you're hiding in Tokyo. If the U.S. has solid, actionable intel, then we tell everybody in the world, everybody, here's the deal. This should be the Obama doctrine. We have the Monroe Doctrine. We have the Roosevelt Doctrine. We have all these doctrines about how we're going to proceed as we come to these very important times in world history. The Obama doctrine should be to every nation in the world. If you allow terrorists to exist in your country, and we believe that they are a threat to America's sovereignty, safety of our people at home or abroad, and you allow them to coexist in your nation, we will find them and we will take them out if you are unwilling or unable to do so. If you would like our help dealing with them, then call us. And we will gladly send our military to assist you.
Not us, because we won't be able to help.
No, call the U.S. We will gladly send our military to assist you. We have counterterrorism teams that we will send. If the Soviets call us and say we have an Al-Qaeda cell in Chechnya that we want to eradicate out, we will go deal with it with you. But if you ignore it and you leave them alone and we find out they're there, we will take them out. Because all these other nations are turning a blind eye, which is giving them room to operate and room to act and room to move until they do strike.
Well, that's very much against Obama foreign policy.
I don't care. Don't care. It's against the UN. Don't care. It's against the Geneva Convention. Don't care.
I hear you.
They're preying on the fact that we're just allowing them to operate wherever they want to operate until they have enough stuff put together so then they can come over here and strike and then run back to these other countries and hide.
Okay.
Forget it. Take their asses out.
I'm not going to say for 1 second that I disagree with you because on a lot of levels I don't. I think the bottom line is this. For me, the idea of walking softly and carrying that big stick.
On the front page of CNN.com, there's a video feed and it says Seth Green loves googly eyes.
Does it really?
I just thought
better leave it. Private joke.
Just thought Holly Kelly, Seth Green loves you.
Private joke, everybody.
Go ahead.
Private joke. Anyway, listen, and maybe you can tell me where I'm wrong on this, but I like some things that Obama has done on the foreign policy basis. Most of the things he's done, I completely disagree with, and I'm flabbergasted by. And it makes me come to one inevitable conclusion. So tell me if I'm wrong on this. I feel that he actually doesn't have any internal barometer as far as his foreign policy goes. I'm not going to go so far as to say he doesn't know what he's doing or it's amateur hour in the White House, as some have suggested, because I'm sure he pays a lot of money to surround himself with people that do know what they're doing.
Sure.
But what I will say is that there seems to be a real lack of what the president should do based on what's best for this country. I just don't see the leadership there on that level. That's why we have the debacle with Syria. That's why we have things like what happened in Kenya and the attacks that are going on. And we've got CNN reporting, we might have 3 Americans there. Well, we're not sure if it was 10 or 15. Well, if you're not even sure if it was 10 or 15, You know, and now you think it might be 3 Americans. Do you know that they reported the wrong guy's name on the shooting at the Navy Yard? CNN and MSNBC did.
Did they?
And they still haven't reached out to apologize to the guy. You know, that's the kind of stuff that ruins people's lives, by the way.
Yeah, but I don't put any of that on Obama. What happened in Kenya, I don't put on Obama.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is with regards to foreign policy, the things that go on, the things that are going on with North Korea, the things that are going on with Iran, the idea, the Clinton doctrine of boxing in your enemy and just keeping him in the box, and whatever they do in that box is, fine, they don't, as long as they don't go out of the box. That, to me, doesn't accomplish anything on a long-term basis. All that is Schrodinger's cat.
But can I give you an example?
Get it? Schrodinger's cat?
Yeah, I don't even know what Schrodinger's cat is. Schrodinger had a cat?
Schrodinger's cat? You don't know what Schrodinger's cat is?
No, I don't know what Schrodinger's cat is.
All right. We'll get into that later.
Trey's going to tell me what
Trey,
Schrodinger's
you want to tell him what
is.
Schrodinger's cat is?
No.
He's like,
look,
no.
Listen, it's what we attempted to do to the Nazis and the Germans after World War I that essentially led to World War II.
Hold on. Yes, Daniel, I agree. How did somebody from Canada get a gun? I don't know either. Okay, go on.
But no, isn't that the truth?
What?
We just tried to isolate Germany after World War I, and it's what led to World War II.
Correct.
You ignored them and boxed them and pounded on them so hard that eventually they had no other choice than to rise up and take up arms against you because they had nothing else. They had nothing to lose. So the idea of boxing them doesn't work. But I will tell you that this is not just an Obama thing.
Oh, listen, no. Listen,
the Obama administration is oblivious in many of its aspects of foreign policy. But I don't think they're any more oblivious than Bush's idea of foreign policy, which clearly didn't work, and Clinton's idea of foreign policy, which clearly didn't work, and George H.W. Bush's and Reagan's foreign policies, which clearly didn't work.
No, I don't think you can go that far.
You can't?
Who brought down the wall in Berlin? Who basically set the
who was
foundation?
in the middle of trading out
wait a
arms
second.
to
Who
Iran
started
for the Contras?
Who won the Cold War after 40 years and basically caused the internal implosion of the Soviet Union?
Do you really believe that was all okay?
100%. Yes.
100%.
Yes.
I think you're awful generous to Reagan's memory.
Well,
but fine. But twist that up. Who also made a deal with to give arms to the Iranians and the Contras and that whole freaking mess? And then
I cannot recall, counsel.
You cannot recall. See, so again, maybe Reagan's plan with Russia paid off, but I think that there was a whole lot of other factors that played into that made it work, which was economic crisis in the Soviet Union that made them had to go that way.
8 years of war in Afghanistan.
8 years of war in Afghanistan. A leader who was charismatic and open to the idea, and Gorbachev. There was a lot of other stuff that was out of Reagan's hands, but Reagan didn't handle the Contras well, and he didn't handle the Iranians well. I mean, listen.
Reagan, what do you mean Reagan? No, Reagan handled it. Reagan got the hostages released. In fact, shortly after he was elected.
By making a deal for arms?
No.
No?
No.
No.
No, the hostages were released by the Iranians because they feared the military prowess of the United States with Reagan coming into power. No. Because they knew that Jimmy Carter, and the funny thing about that is Jimmy Carter actually did send in a military strike to try to rescue the hostages. The problem was that some things went wrong.
They hit a sandstorm.
Yeah, some things went wrong. And so Jimmy listen, Jimmy Carter had a set of balls, tiny ones, peanut size. But he had some. They were there. I mean, obviously, he still has balls. He's the only guy. He's the only president that would actually go into a Middle Eastern country and say, "Hey, this election's 100% better than the United States." Yeah.
Listen, I'm just saying that none of our elected leaders in a long ass time has had an idea about foreign policy that actually worked. You can go back to LBJ and Kennedy and Nixon that didn't understand a foreign policy that worked, that got us into and kept us in Vietnam forever, and it didn't work. I mean, these leaders are not answering to the foreign policy needs of a country. They're answering to foreign policy needs of corporations and businesses that need X, Y, and Z to fix their bottom line. And they're the donors, and they're the ones that make the money to be the donors to help them get elected and help their cohorts get elected. None of these. I mean, Obama's no better than Bush is no better than Clinton. It's just they're all corrupt bastard morons.
You want to hear something funny for those of you who are listening? You can't see this, but we have an internal monitor in here.
Yeah.
And I would just like I'm gonna do this just because it's funny. I'm gonna point out to Trey, our producer / board op in there right now. Hey Trey, we can't actually see the clock when you cover it with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So
I'm like looking up. I can't know what time it is.
But here's what I'll say. Here's the last thing I'll say about this issue with the foreign policy decisions.
Yeah.
We have to establish that what we're doing isn't working. Okay? We have known that terrorists have been trying to strike America for a long ass time. When was the first time they hit the World Trade Center?
1993.
93.
I believe. Yeah.
So 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
This plan hasn't worked for 20 years. If you take the Europeans and you look at how long they've been dealing with airport bombings and hijackings and bombed planes and cruise ships.
Listen,
remember the Achille Lauro?
The Europeans got a good crash course in it when the British military occupied Belfast and did what they did in Ireland, and then when the Palestinians killed the Israeli athletes during the 72 Munich Olympics. So there was Europe got in fact the GSG-9s, which is the German anti-terrorist group, was formed as a direct result of that. Europe has a unique situation. You have so many vastly different types of countries living within close proximity to each other.
Sure.
And you can travel through 4 countries in one day,
But that's my point though.
Yeah.
If you want to use the 72 Munich Games as a measuring point, that was 41 years ago. The idea of leaving them alone where they can hatch a plan and then come to you and orchestrate it doesn't work.
Yeah, I know. I don't disagree with you at all.
You either take your war to your enemies or your enemies bring the war to you. And you are much better prepared for a war on your opponent's soil than on your own.
Well, you want it on your opponent's soil because you don't want collateral damage on yours. And for all of you out there who believe that we should go into Syria, okay, I understand that. I applaud that. For those of you out there that say we should not go into Syria for fear of collateral damage, I understand you and applaud you for that as well. The reality here can't be the president's take. A pinprick measure, a couple dozen cruise missiles fired into a country that has zero effect, zero net gain. Okay, because all that does is tell Bashar al-Assad or whoever used the chemical weapons, well, this is what we're going to do to you. We're going to punk slap you. Yeah. That's all it's saying. And so it's got to be one or the other. It's you either got to be hands off, or you gotta knock them back to the Stone Age. You got to kick their ass back to last week, and you can't feel bad about it. And if you choose that route, you got to be willing to understand there will be collateral damage. It's just that's the reality of war. And, again, I've served, Kevin's served. We understand that. For those of you that don't, well, read a book. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. No, it's fair. I mean, it's fair. It's something has to give.
That's right.
And you can't negotiate with them.
It won't be me anymore, man. I've been taxed enough already.
You can't broker a peace settlement with these guys. So either you wait for them to come to you in small bits and pieces while they blow up bombs in malls and buses and airplanes, or you find them and root them out.
And I will just tell you this.
Handle them like the mob. You didn't wait for the mob to come.
I made the comment earlier that this could happen in the Kitsap Mall tomorrow, okay? There is actually very strong reason why it probably won't, ever, because a lot of people in malls in the United States are carrying guns.
I don't know. I'll tell you this. The kind of guns the people in the Everett Mall and the Kitsap Mall are carrying don't equal the kind of firepower that these terrorists are carrying.
A bullet's a bullet.
Yeah, but a bullet from a guy with a submachine gun against a guy with a 9mm semi-automatic is not even going to be a fair fight.
I don't think you're following me all the way here, and I'm going to leave the listeners with this as we go to break.
Yeah, Josh Holiday's next.
There's a big difference between an untrained terrorist who walks in with an AK-47 and a man who truly knows how to use his .45.
That's true. All right. We'll switch gears. Josh Holiday, finalist from American Idol last season, made the top 24, made it to Hollywood. He's around the corner. We're going to ask about the show after this.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Barbara Klein. Kenya's military officials say most of the people trapped since yesterday inside Nairobi's Westgate shopping mall have been freed. The Somali extremist group Al-Shabaab is claiming responsibility for the attack that has claimed at least 68 lives, according to Kenya's Red Cross. The BBC's Mike Wooldridge is in Nairobi, where today Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta gave a public statement.
I think it was clear that President went to great lengths to stress that Kenya was, as he put it, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multicultural society, and that the al-Shabaab militants wouldn't succeed if their aim was to give the opposite impression and to divide this society further. He also said, again very firmly, that this wouldn't lead his government, to pull Kenyan troops out of Somalia, because, of course, that was the justification used by al-Shabaab for carrying out this attack. They said it was a retaliation for Kenya sending its troops into Somalia.
That's the BBC's Mike Wooldridge reporting from Nairobi. Meanwhile, the State Department says it's reviewing a list ostensibly released by al-Shabaab that names 9 attackers. 3 of them included are identified as being from the U.S. President Obama is renewing his call for new steps to prevent gun violence, but he says any movement will have to begin outside Washington. NPR's Scott Horsley reports the president made the appeal today at a memorial service for the victims of last week's massacre at the Washington Navy Yard.
President Obama says if America really wants to honor the 12 people who were killed at the Navy Yard last week, it will have to confront what he calls an epidemic of gun violence. Obama made similar comments after earlier massacres in Colorado and Connecticut. While his push for gun safety legislation stalled in the Senate, Obama says Americans should not resign themselves to a future of routine gun violence.
By now, though, it should be clear that the change we need will not come from Washington, even when tragedy strikes Washington. Change will come the only way it ever has come, and that's from the American people.
Obama says the country also needs better mental health care, and he's ordered a review of security at military bases. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
The U.S. Navy says it's rescued 3 crew members who were aboard a Nighthawk helicopter that crashed in the Red Sea early today. Search efforts continue for 2 others. The Navy says no hostile activity was involved in the incident, and an investigation is underway. In Iraq, another suicide bombing of mourners at a funeral today has targeted a gathering in a mostly Sunni district of Baghdad, killing at least 16 people. Yesterday, suicide bombers struck a funeral in the capital's predominantly Shiite Sadr city, killing more than 70. This is NPR. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has secured a 3rd term in today's elections, according to preliminary results, but her center-right coalition has apparently not won an absolute majority of seats in parliament, so Merkel will have to negotiate a new coalition. Her conservative union bloc won about 42% of the vote. That's 8 points more than they won in the last election 4 years ago. Russia says it's prepared to send military observers to Syria. From Moscow, NPR's Corey Flintoff reports the observers would help provide security for efforts to eliminate the Syrian government's chemical weapons.
Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says Russia would not be sending a large number of troops, but would be willing to contribute observers to help secure areas where chemical weapons experts would do their work. At the same time, Lavrov criticized efforts by Western governments to get a UN resolution authorizing the use of force if Syria fails to keep its promises to give up chemical weapons. Russia is Syria's main international ally. As if to underscore the dangers of working in Syria, Russia says a rebel mortar shell struck the grounds of its embassy in Damascus, injuring 3 workers. Corey Flintoff, NPR News, Moscow.
Gas prices are down 6 cents a gallon over the last 2 weeks, according to analyst Trilby Lundberg.
The crude oil price drop that allowed refiners to cut wholesale gasoline prices has already, in the main, hit the retail sector, and many retailers and dealers will be able to cut price as well who haven't done so yet.
The average for a gallon of regular is now $3.52. I'm Barbara Klein, NPR News in Washington.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wished no more? It's ISPNsports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, the Lubbock College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ispnsports.com.
The Kitsap Humane Society is an independent nonprofit committed to providing positive, life-changing solutions to people and companion animals. Our vision is that every adoptable animal has a home. In 2010, we rehomed 4,111 pets. For more information on our programs, services, and animals available for adoption, visit us on the web at kitsap-humane.org. Kitsap Humane Society. Rescue, rehabilitate, rehome.
The Legacy Group in Silverdale is a well-respected independent mortgage banker, absolutely committed to helping Kitsap County families on their path to home ownership. As an employee-owned company, the Legacy Group has a strong stake in your success, and they want to be your lifetime partner in helping you develop a strong real estate portfolio. Call the Legacy Group in Silverdale today at 698-6440 and find out how they can help you get started on the road to home ownership. 698-6440 for the Legacy Group, a lending experience that's a little different and a lot smarter.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
The Home Buyers Association of Kitsap County is an association of professional builders, subcontractors, service providers, and purveyors representing the home building industry. For more than 50 years, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County has provided information, education, and services that promote the health and welfare of the home building industry. As leaders of the industry, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County fosters safe, affordable housing and addresses issues affecting our industry. To find out more, visit them online at kitsap.hba.com.
Did you know volunteering with the Bremerton Central Lions Club can be fun? Community services for everyone. Young people, families, men, women. As a volunteer, you'll help your community and gain valuable skills, network with others, energize your life, make an impact, and have fun. Get in step with your community and volunteer. Visit us at bremertoncentralwa.lionwap.org.
Yeah, let's go to the beach, eat, let's go get away. They say what they gonna say. Have a drink.
What is this?
Drink, found a spotlight, bad girls.
See, this is what happens when we let Paul pick the bumps for us.
I didn't pick the bump.
You put this bump together, right? Turn that back up a little. Turn this up just for a second. This is ridiculous.
Why are you doing this for? There's.
All right. Go ahead and kill it. That's horrible.
He doesn't even know. It's a spinoff. It's a group that does the Nicki Minaj cover. Is what it is.
Nicki Minaj?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it was appropriate.
No, yeah, it'll get banned when we upload it. It will.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
So, truthfully, that's why I told him to cut it.
All right.
Because otherwise, it's a whole nother.
Do we have our guest on the phone yet?
Yep.
We do? Oh, you're calling right now. All right.
Anyway.
I understand what he's saying. I'll tell you later. All right. So coming up in just a couple of seconds, we're going to talk with Josh Holiday. Now, again, just to give you a rundown about who Josh Holiday is. If you watched last season of American Idol,
which apparently not very many of you did.
No,
I'm kidding.
Draws very well.
No, actually, I enjoyed it last season personally.
Did you?
I did.
Yeah.
But then again, I enjoy the singing competition shows. Having a wife that's a singer, having a co-host on my radio show that's a DJ that does a lot of singing himself, although he doesn't have the courage to go on stage and sing with a band. I do. I enjoy it. Yes, that was a hit on you.
Are you slamming me now?
It wasn't a slam. It was a gentle
Maybe
trip.
we should ask Josh what he thinks of you singing Breakfast at Tiffany's. Josh was made the top 24 in American Idol last season. Made the trip all the way over to Hollywood.
I didn't make the top 2.4 million.
You couldn't make it past the first producer. And
my wife did.
Josh was number 21 in the sudden death round, and he's got an album coming up on Tuesday, and let's welcome him to the show. Joining us live here on the Outlaw Radio Network is one and only Josh Holiday. Josh, thanks for joining us here on a Sunday evening here on the Outlaw Radio Network.
Man.
What's going on, man?
Hey, I'm glad to be here. How are you?
We are doing outstanding, man. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm very good. Just got out of rehearsal and worship leading today, which is Sunday.
That's good, man. You sound like you're high on life, and you got to love that.
I guess, man. How are you doing?
It's pouring down rain up here, but our Seahawks did win today, which made life much more pleasant and happy.
Right.
Your Tennessee Titans didn't do too bad. You're down in Nashville, Tennessee, right?
I am.
Oh.
Yes, I'm calling you from Nashville, Tennessee.
Beautiful town. What part of Nashville are you in down there?
Well, I'm real close to Vanderbilt and Music Row. I live very close to Vanderbilt.
Okay.
And so that's the area that I live in.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. My wife just spent some time down there singing some songs and recording a music video down there. It's a wonderful city, isn't it? Like one of those you get in there and you get the music and the vibe in your blood, and all of a sudden you just can't get it out. That's what she told me anyway. So.
Yeah, I love it here. I grew up in a very small town in Texas called Celeste, Texas, but I've lived here in Nashville, Tennessee. I moved here to go to Belmont University, and after I graduated, I decided to stay here, and so I've been here in Nashville for right at 7 years.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. That time goes fast. How are you finding the music scene in Nashville for somebody of your talent and coming from your background?
I mean, Nashville's treated me really well. I find that a lot of artists end up honing their craft here, but then a lot of your performances that you do are outside of Nashville. It's really, I mean, we're really saturated with a lot of artists, and that makes you better as an artist. But I feel like there's a lot of songwriter rounds that happen here, but a lot of performers, like even world-class performers, cannot sell out an arena here, whereas they would be able to sell out 1 or 2 or 3 nights and end up in a different part of the country. So Nashville's kind of a town that a lot of people don't play as much as they use it to hone their craft.
Gotcha. Okay, I can understand that.
So again, we're talking with Josh Holiday, finalist from last season's American Idol with St. Paul and me, K-Dog. Hey, Josh, help me out with something, man. You mentioned it a minute ago. Small town in Texas, and next thing you know, you're on one of the most popular shows in America. You got an album ready to drop. Is there a moment where you're sitting there and you're like, holy cow, man, where did all this come from? When did this happen? What is it like for you coming from small town to where you are now? Give me an idea what it's like.
Wow, it's hard to put into words because you just take it day by day and step by step. I mean, to be where I'm at, I feel blessed. I know that I've been very privileged. I got to make it to the top 20 guys this season on season 12 of American Idol, and so through that, I think it's always about who you're around and the relationships that you get to make with people. And I mean, sometimes, like especially with hanging out with the top 20 guys and top 20 girls, so the top 40 overall, sometimes you feel like you're at a circus.
Sure.
It's like you have so many personalities that are just competing for attention, and I was one of the contestants that was there, I would say predominantly because of my voice. I mean, sure, you could say that a lot more goes into it, but whenever it gets whittled down to that few of contestants, like you go from over 100,000 people that audition, and then you're in the top 20 guys and top 20 girls. There's every race is represented. Like you have Hispanic, you have African American, you have white, you have Filipino, you have literally almost every race. Obviously, there's 20 guys, 20 girls, but then you also have your people who are, cross-dressed, and so then you have those lines that are blurred. And then you have personality levels of the highest, most intense personality in your face. Then you have, people who are really quiet, and, I was entertained behind the scenes way more than I ever was watching what y'all got to see.
That's funny. That really puts it in perspective.
I mean, like being where I'm at here, I am releasing a single called Rewind to iTunes. It will be released worldwide this Tuesday. So right now I'm just gearing up for the next 48 hours. It's going to be a lot of, a lot of promotion will go into that single. A lot of promotion has already gone into that single.
Now,
and I'm just so excited to really dive in and to release my first song. So
let me ask you this, Josh, because I think a lot of people that are listening right now, we've had a lot of music talent and artists and stuff on this show, but I think a lot of them would give their eye teeth, to be in your position. You got a great deal of exposure, name recognition. You're able to brand yourself by being on American Idol. Once you left the show, and where kind of your journey from there to here, how has that gone for you? Are you currently with a label? Are you self-produced? Are you doing it all on your own? How's it working for you?
Well, what was funny is because I had actually the song that I'm releasing has been about 2 or 3 years in the making. I had the privilege of working with a producer, a Grammy award-winning producer. His name's Drew Ramsey, and he's produced John Legend, India Ari, Johnny Lang. He won a Grammy for Johnny Lang's Turnaround album. He's produced Jesse McCartney, Mark Broussard. Incredible blue-eyed soul producer. And so I'd already written this song with him and a couple other people, and it just kind of sat on the shelf because as soon as you enter into American Idol, things that you were doing before that really get put on hold. So I was about to release something, and then I was like, well, it's more valuable for me to go get the exposure in front of 15 million people than it is for me to release this song beforehand. So actually, this was something I had already done. So this song it came from me from what I was doing before Idol.
Gotcha.
And so I was ready, actually, last Friday, on Friday the 13th, believe it or not, I was released from my American Idol contract. It's 120, like if you make the top 40 overall, then you're under contract for 4 months, or 120 days.
Gotcha.
And so I was released on that, and so I'm waiting. 9 days later, I will have already released my first single. Then a week after that, so not this Tuesday, but 9 days from now, so next Tuesday, I'll be releasing the music video for that. And so I was really able to hit the ground running as soon as those contracts let up. And now, man, there's no stopping.
Right. You were able to ramp up. You just couldn't release anything and make any money from it, right? Is that how it worked for you?
Well, I mean, you can always release stuff, but I think it's better to act out of integrity.
Sure.
I think a lot of contestants decide to go ahead and release things no matter what the contracts say, but I would rather operate with integrity.
Yeah.
And so that's why I waited. Yeah.
I can appreciate that. Nice. Well done. Well, Kevin?
Let's talk about your experience in the show really quick, and I do want to talk about the album that's dropping Tuesday as well. But let's talk about your experience in the show for a second. Because
hold on, Kevin. I want to stop you right there because Josh, I want to say this before Kevin asks you any questions about the show. All right, remember this.
Yeah.
You're not under contract, so you can say whatever you want. Whatever you want. You feel free to just speak your heart, my friend. Just give it to us. Okay, Kevin, go ahead.
All right, so talk about your experience in the show really quick, because I think a lot of people watch the show from home and they see all right, so they see Josh walk into the room and there's Nicki Minaj and there's Keith Urban and there's Mariah Carey and you're gonna sing, and that's the whole thing, and they give you a thumb up and thumb down, you're going to Hollywood, that's it. Now we know that there's so much more to it than that. Give us an idea about what happens, that whole process, because there's more to it than just that to get even to the point where you knew you were going to Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. Before I was ever filmed, I had already made it through 3 auditions. And so for those of you who are interested in doing American Idol, which if anyone sings or holds a tune, that's a goal. For people who are in America, I can honestly say it was really not a goal of mine. It wasn't. I was so blessed whenever I got to go do it and have that experience, and I would do it again in a heartbeat because of the people that you meet, great exposure. I mean, it's a win-win-win. But you're also playing with fire, because I was one of the few that made it out literally unscathed. Like, everything that was said about me was positive, positive, positive. And whenever you're on a show like that, you are signing up for the possibility of you being ridiculed, made fun of, your talent. It can go either way. So you're playing with fire.
You could be Jordan Sparks or William Hung.
Right, and
there you go.
And probably William might have sold more records. So it doesn't matter.
Touche,
I think William won. He won, but I mean, you can either be back home doing what you were doing before, or yes, you can be Jordan Sparks, or at the top of it, Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, Jennifer Hudson. Those are the biggest success stories that show's had, and no other show has a track record like that.
Oh, absolutely
and
true.
So, actually, something that a lot of people don't know is that I was in the finals of The Voice at the same time I was auditioning for American Idol. So both shows, I was talking between both legal teams and associate producers to say, hey, how far can I go in both of these competitions before I have to choose? Well, it turns out that I had made it right before they were going to fly me out to Hollywood for The Voice, or I was going to go to Chicago for the second, third, and fourth round of American Idol. And I was sitting at home in Nashville, Tennessee. My grandmother's birthday was, her name's Granny Jane. I know she's listening. I love her. And my mother, Christy, love you. And so both of them were with me. And we were sitting here in Nashville. We literally did not know until 2 days before whether I was going to fly to LA for The Voice and leave Idol behind, not do that, or if The Voice said no, I was going to proceed on with Idol and give that a shot. And so from the very beginning, it just, my life was really a whirlwind, because to have nods of both shows simultaneously is huge. And then the funny thing is whenever I was out in Hollywood, I was hanging out with the guys, the top 28 guys at that point in time of the competition, and we were out at the Grove in LA, and I walked into the men's restroom and I did, just this little run, little singing. I mean, I have singing Tourette's. I sing all the time, really loud. I always sing. I didn't even remember singing. And and someone follows me out, and I was kind of weirded out, and he was like, I have to hear you sing again. I have to hear you sing again. And he said, and I was like, I don't know about that. And so I just was walking with my friends, because I was there with the guys that I was on Idol with. And so I was just walking away, and then he pulls out his badge, and he's like, hey, I'm on the X Factor, and I'm one of the vocal coaches there, and I really want you to audition. I want you to try out the show. And I was like, I really can't talk to you. So I just kept walking away from him.
Oh, man.
And I was trying to be nice, but I didn't know what to do, because I was there with contestants who had already done really well in Idol, and all of us know whenever you're under those contracts, you really don't say anything. You don't tell some of your extended family. You don't tell some of your, friends that may not be your closest friends. And so you kind of keep it tight to the chest. You don't tell a lot of people. And so I just kept walking away, and then he came back later, and he's like, I know exactly what y'all are doing, because I guess you recognize some of the returners from the season that I was hanging out with, and he was like, you're on Idol, and he's like, dude, keep on going, and he gave me a thumbs up. And so this past year, I'm kind of just reeling and just trying to take it all in, to have experiences and brush shoulders with all three of the television shows, and just say, okay, what do I do with this? What does this mean? But then also just be thankful, just be grateful that I've had that encouragement. So.
And then who did you take with you to Nashville when you went not Nashville when you went to Chicago? When you went out there to go before the panel, who did you take with you to Chicago with you?
Well, before Chicago, I was in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I was with my friend Ray Vaughn and Joel. And then we all three made it through the cattle call round there. Then the second round, Joel, Rayvon, and myself, we all went to Chicago. My mom and grandma came with us, and then Joel's parents were there as well. And then we all made it through the second round together. And then we auditioned. So the first round is associate producers, Bowling Green. Second round is, again, associate producers, Chicago. Then your third round is your executive producers, which are Ken and Nigel. Nigel's a judge on So You Think You Can Dance?
Right,
So You Think You Can Dance?
Nigel Hawthorne?
Go.
Yeah. Gotcha, right.
Nigel Lithgow?
Lithgow,
He's
yeah.
not producing a show anymore, but he did this season. And so I went there, and then Joel and Rayvon got cut third round for the executive producers, and then I went through. And so you audition 3 times before you ever walk into the room with the celebrity panel. So that's the road to get there.
Can I just say what everybody's thinking?
What is everybody
How do some of those people get through the second and third round? You know those producers are listen. You know those producers are sitting there going, "Oh man, this is going to really mess with those guys on TV, man. We got to put this guy through. He's bad." Right? You know I'm telling the truth, right?
They call out the middle, the non-interesting. They cut. And this was my 5th time to audition, so I had been cut on the very first round, the first 4 times I auditioned for the show.
Gotcha. Really?
And so, yeah. I mean, I had auditioned and never made it past the first round. And then, so they cut out the middle. They try to keep the worst for comedic effect.
And the
then
best,
they
right.
keep the best, because they need someone to do really well in the industry to keep the show living. Because if they don't have true artists and come off of that show, then their validity, it's worthless.
Sure.
You know, if they don't have people who have real careers after it, then it loses its validity in today's music.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're 100% correct. In fact, what's interesting is there was a big story that came out this weekend that the X Factor, for example, their ratings were in the tank before the show's even gotten going. I don't know if you had seen that or not. And so
their ratings went what?
Oh, their ratings are in the tank. They're really bad. And so a lot of people were...
I have a lot of friends on that show. Right? Are you talking about this season?
Yeah, this season. The ratings are not good. Yeah, they're not good at all. And so there's a lot of speculation right now within the industry as to whether or not the show will make it past this year. So, it's and to go back to your point, you got to be able to put out star power. And I've actually been surprised. It doesn't seem that the contestants that have won X Factor, they've been able to put them out there. Now, I've seen some of the contestants from X Factor, some of the younger contestants show up on some Disney shows because I've got kids and I've seen them on there, but really nothing from the winners of the shows. So it's unfortunate.
Well, globally, that's your mothership of TV shows. The X Factor is it's done more globally. I mean, you can take One Direction, Leona Lewis.
Oh, I love Leona Lewis. Is awesome.
Right.
Yeah, and so globally, they have done more than American Idol or than the Idol franchise.
Right.
But American Idol is untouched in America.
Yeah.
And so I had the privilege of going to Belmont, and I got to study European music business. I actually flew to London, and I spent a month there, and I traveled to Scotland and Paris, and I was studying what the music business looks like abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And there are just some things that don't travel well. For example, like Martina McBride, a huge country artist in America, she may be able to have a crowd of 2,000 people, whereas she can probably pull in, 15 or 10,000 here in America, or join someone else and join forces and go do an arena tour.
Mm-hmm.
And so it looks very differently. But then you take an artist like Jamie Johnson, who's perceived as a rock artist because he's so rough around the edges, and he'll be able to pack out way more than Martina McBride would ever in that arena. Then you take like Taylor Swift, and then she's considered pop over there. I mean, she's really considered pop here as well. But the beginning of her career, that country would not have traveled as well as her now pop stuff does. Mm-hmm. So it's just really interesting to me. Sure. But getting back to X Factor, globally they're more successful, but American Idol in this country hands down takes the cake. So I'm really thankful that was the show I got the most exposure on.
Gotcha. Kevin?
All right, so listen, let's do this. Josh, can you hold on with us? We gotta get a break out of the way. We got to keep our sponsors happy. So can you hold on with us through the break? We'll take
I'll
a quick
hold on through the break, man.
All right, Josh Holiday joining us again, finalist on X Factor last year, and we're going to go to a break right now. So when we take the break, we'll come back. When we come back, we're going to talk about the album that's dropping. We've also got a track from Josh's new album that nobody's heard yet. So we're going to play it here live for you after the break. So stick around. He is St. Paul, the voice of reason.
K-Dog, the loose cannon.
And we got Trey running the boards. We got Desi running the social sites. If you've got questions you want to ask Josh, we're going to get to those questions afterwards as well. So get those up on the Twitter.com, and be sure to use the hashtag. And also you can post those in our chat room, and we'll get those questions out to Josh right after the break. So stick around. More with Josh Holiday right after this. The new album drops on Tuesday. We'll talk about that after the break. Outlaw Radio Network, edgemediasource.com. Stay tuned.
Get outlawed.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscaping design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wish no more? It's ISPNSports.com. Kitsap's only live and local all-sports, 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNSports.com.
The Legacy Group in Silverdale is a well-respected independent mortgage banker, absolutely committed to helping Kitsap County families on their path to home ownership. As an employee-owned company, the Legacy Group has a strong stake in your success, and they want to be your lifetime partner in helping you develop a strong real estate portfolio. Call the Legacy Group in Silverdale today at 698-6440 and find out how they can help you get started on the road to home ownership. 698-6440 for the Legacy Group, a lending experience that's a little different and a lot smarter.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
The Home Buyers Association of Kitsap County is an association of professional builders, subcontractors, service providers, and purveyors representing the home building industry. For more than 50 years, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County has provided information, education, and services that promote the health and welfare of the home building industry. As leaders of the industry, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County fosters safe, affordable housing and addresses issues affecting our industry. To find out more, visit them online at kitsapHBA.com.
All right, it's the Outlaw Radio Network. Reminder that coming up at 9 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Stephen Gardner with the Kitsap Sun. We get our NFL picks out of the way, and Stephen Gardner will be our guest picker this week. Josh Holiday, we should have had you set it to be a guest picker, too. Are you a big NFL fan?
He hung up on you?
No, he's still there.
I can hear the phone.
He's still there. I just don't think he can hear us. Hey, Trey, double check that. Josh, can you hear us okay, buddy?
Maybe you muted him on accident.
No,
There you go.
Josh, can you hear us? All right, we'll give them a chance to see if he's on the line. He may not be able to hear us. Oh, there you are. There you are. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
Are you a big NFL fan, Josh? Are you a big football fan?
I played football. I'm not a huge fan. Honestly, I just have to be honest. I'm really not. But I really enjoy watching my brothers play. My brother was a quarterback, and so he got all those genes. Loved watching him play. But I don't really watch sports much at all. I don't even have cable, man.
You're too busy, man. You're cutting an album. You're rehearsing. What would you say? You just got back from praise and worship, so you're active in that too. You ain't got time for TV.
I know. I really don't. I literally do not own cable. Now, I do own Netflix, and that can steal a lot of my time. But
that's true.
I don't have cable, so I don't tune in. I honestly watch the Super Bowl for the halftime show, if I'm really being honest.
You heard who they booked for the halftime show this year, right? You heard who they got performing at halftime, right?
Who?
They got Bruno Mars this year at halftime.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting
That should be
show.
good, though.
I think it'd be good. Yeah, I like him. I'm a Bruno Mars fan.
Yeah,
music.
he's good. Usually they get more, not that he's not established, because he's hugely successful, but he's pretty new.
Yeah,
He
doesn't have the history. He doesn't have the library to base it off of.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Is just he has the success, just not the history. So
there you go.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
There you go.
Now, as we get into some of these
Do you like
questions,
football?
Listen, if you can see the stream, we're sporting the old school Seahawk jersey over here because the Seahawks just laid a smackdown on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if any of your fans are Jags fans, let me invite you to come to the Seahawk bandwagon. There's plenty of room.
I would love to. I would love to see some. I love going live any sporting event, and I like it whenever I have friends that if I have any friends that play pro and supporting them. But as far as just tuning in on TV and spending hours watching any sport, that's really not my thing.
Josh, you ever make it to Seattle? Paul and I will make sure we find some tickets to a Husky or a Seahawk game, man. We will take you out and show you what the sports are like up here in the Northwest, man.
There you go.
You know what? One of my best friends is from Washington.
Yeah,
and so I love your state already.
Is this somebody by default? Is this somebody that you become friends with down in Nashville, or is it somebody that you met on the show?
It is actually. She's a signed country artist. I don't know if y'all have heard of her yet because she is at the early part of her career, but her name's Rochelle Lene. Does that ring a bell?
It sounds familiar. I think that's a name my wife brought up, man.
Yeah,
it might be.
Yeah,
my wife was down there. She filmed an episode of Nashville down in Nashville. So.
Oh, great! As an actress?
Yeah, more like an extra.
Hey, it depends on how you want to explain it. She was
on the show. Darn it! That's where I'm leaving it right there.
Josh, my advice to you is if you're ever married, never tell your wife she's an extra because you'll be filing for divorce the next day.
Oh no!
I couldn't lie. I can't lie about it, man. Now I'm in trouble.
I'm single right now, so
just remember, Josh.
Keep that in mind for the future.
You remember one piece of advice that you take from the show: marriage is not a word. It is a sentence, my friend, a lifelong sentence.
No.
All right, let's get back on track.
I know Kevin's got some good questions to ask you right now.
I do. Let's talk about the album, man. The album is dropping on Tuesday, so I want you to give us an idea of the flavor behind this album. Talk about your style. Talk about your roots. Give us an idea what's behind this album.
Okay. Well, it's a single, so it's going to be one track. I I have a record that I take with me to shows, but I'm releasing it online. I'm just releasing a single.
Okay.
And so this song is very, very current. It is, it's a Christian and gospel song. And so faith is very, very important to me. And so I wouldn't be an authentic artist if that wasn't represented in my music. And so, but it also pushes a lot of boundaries that that Christian music listeners may not listen to. Like, one of the comments I've gotten is that it doesn't sound like a quote-unquote Christian song. And so I like that. I would say it would be along the lines of a Toby Mac or a Mandisa. It's got some urban flavor to it, but it's also very pop, very current. And I want anything that I release to be relevant to whatever culture we're in. And, you know, I don't write music for what I love to listen to. You really write it for your fans, and you write it to reach people and to inspire people. And so my goal is to write music that has a great message. That's the number one thing. I want to honor God with everything that I do, every business decision, every song that I sing, every lyric. I really value the words that come out of my mouth, and I definitely want to leave a legacy that's longer than just the here and now. And so, yeah, I would just say it's a current, very pop-sounding song. So,
and this is the one that
I'm like a white guy, I'm like a black guy in a white guy's body. I really, really want to sing black gospel and put as much flavor in that, but I think it's wise for me to blend that with pop. It's just more authentic.
You don't want to be out there feeling like Vanilla Ice. I know what you're saying, brother. I hear you. I totally understand your flavor right now. All right.
No, a little Toby Mac, though. I mean,
like Brian McKnight, smooth, a lot of vocal agility. It would be like Brian McKnight meets Bruno Mars.
There you go.
Honestly.
And I think
that would be it.
I think the Toby Mac reference is a good one, man. Toby Mac's a good model to follow too in that industry. Did you catch flack for that? I mean, you know, I've read a lot of stories for people that were following that Christian influence in their music, and I've read a lot that they were persuaded strongly by people in the industry. You don't want to go down that route. You don't want to pigeonhole yourself. You don't want to lock yourself out from a potential audience. Did you get much of that?
I think people know what is authentic and what is not.
I love
that
answer.
Whenever I was on the show, no, actually, that wasn't something that was talked against. I mean, Candace Glover, who won it, she's a Christian, and even her single, I mean, I don't know how you can listen to He Says I Am Beautiful and He Says I'm Worth Every Scar without knowing where that song comes from.
Right.
You know, I don't know how, I mean, and then Angie Miller, I mean, I don't think that she'll be in the Christian industry. I love one of the quotes that she has is that loving God is not a genre of music. I love that. And I stand strong with her beside that. But I think a lot of the contestants are very strong in their faith. Like, I think over half of the top 10 were worship leaders.
That's cool. I love that. I dig that.
I mean, the best music comes from the church. I'm so convinced of that. I mean, you look at Whitney Houston. You look at BB and CeCe Winans. You look at Mariah Carey. You look at some of her Christmas records and that reference. I think it only pigeonholes you if you let it. But your talent can definitely break down any. I mean, I think more than talent, I think God can break down any barrier He wants to. So.
I couldn't agree more with you. Now, I'm not going to throw Kevin under the bus here.
But
in the break, he was telling me, Josh, he says, I really want to ask him. So, Kevin, what did you really want to ask Josh about last year on American Idol?
Oh, we're going to ask him that after we play a song.
Are you going to ask him?
Yeah, I'm going to ask him that
really?
after we play a song.
That's strategically
That is strategically placed. Well, because I was told, I wasn't aware of this, but Desi, our intern, told us you sent her over a song that nobody's heard. Is this the track you're talking about that gets released on Tuesday?
Is it Rewind?
Is it Rewind? It is Rewind. Is this the one?
It's it. Yes, that is not released. Y'all get to hear it before. So yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, first of all, let me just say I'm honored you're letting us play it first, man. I think that's cool, and especially knowing your stand and your faith and your conviction behind it, man. That just even makes it more cool. So, let me do this. Let's cue up the track. Let's play this. This is Rewind. This is Josh Holiday. This is dropping on Tuesday. After you hear this track, Josh is going to tell you where to get the track because you're going to want to have it after you listen to it. But let's play this now. This is Josh Holiday. This is Rewind here on the Outlaw Radio Network.
Why can't I just say those 3 words? Guess they'll wait another day to be heard. What if life is just a chance to say I love you more than words convey? Everything, that's what you deserve. I wanna be the kind of guy who wakes up in the morning time to give you all of me so freely. 'Cause love's like an hourglass of sand that's slipping through our hands. Don't let it pass you by. So sing while you still got the chance. Go on and dare to dance. We gotta live while we're alive. 'Cause life don't rewind, rewind, rewind. I don't wanna waste another minute growing older, wasting time on things that never matter when it's over. Only God can take this heart and heal me from who I've become. I'm changed by His love. 'Cause I wanna be the kind of guy who wakes up in the morning time to give you all of me so freely. 'Cause love's like an hourglass of sand that's slipping through our hands. Don't let it pass you by. So sing while you still got the chance. Go on and dare to dance. We gotta live while we're alive. 'Cause life don't rewind, rewind, rewind. I wanna give you all my time, my soul, my heart, my mind. You can break me, you can take every piece and make me complete again. 'Cause I don't wanna waste another moment trying to be something I'm not when you know who I am. 'Cause I wanna be the kind of guy who wakes up in the morning time to give you all of me so freely. 'Cause love's like an hourglass of sand that's slipping through our hands. Don't let it pass you by. So sing while you still got the chance. Go on and dance your dance. We gotta live while we're alive. 'Cause life don't rewind, rewind. Life don't rewind. 'Cause life don't rewind, rewind, rewind. 'Cause life don't rewind.
Live.
There we go.
There we go.
Josh Holiday. That's Rewind. It drops on Tuesday. Josh.
Yeah, man.
That is hot, man. That is a great track.
That was a great song, man. Absolutely loved it.
And you write your own stuff, right? You wrote that?
I do, yes.
That is
I co-wrote that.
That is outstanding. Okay, so if people are going to find the track, where do they go to get the track?
It will be on every online source you can get your music from. So it'll be on Amazon, iTunes. I mean, you name it, it'll be there. So I think I'm releasing it on like 15 different formats of ways that you can purchase it. But if you Google Josh Holiday Rewind, I mean, iTunes is the most common, so I would say go there.
And I'll tell you, with a wife that's a musician, man, I got a really picky ear. That was such a great song. It was full of soul. It was well mixed. It was tight. I absolutely loved it. You want to give some props out there? What studio did you record that at?
Drew Ramsey, for sure. Drew Ramsey, and then, yeah, I mean, he's really responsible for a lot of that track and bringing it to life, from the writing of it to the producing to really capturing my vision of wanting to sound current, and I think we did that.
Absolutely,
So
you did.
I'm excited.
Did you guys mix it down yourselves? Did you have somebody else do that for you?
Yeah, we hired Dan Scheich. He's there's a group called Big Betty Weave, and they have a Christian hit right now that's called Redeemed, and he mixed that. He's mixed stuff for Johnny Lane, Mark Broussard, so he mixed and mastered it as well. Yeah, I mean, it had a great team. That was, I'm so glad to have the team that I had on that. It was, 4 different writers. Drew produced it, and then Dan mastered it and mixed some of it as well, and so it's great. I'm excited for it.
All right, Josh, you ready to go rapid fire? We got a lot of your fans leaving us questions on Twitter. I want to get through as many as I can before we got to wrap this. You ready?
This is fun.
All right, let's rapid fire. And listen, I'm just grabbing the questions as they're posting them to Twitter. I want to give your fans a chance to sound off. So here we go. Josh, what's your favorite book?
An Uphill Climb.
I got a lot of questions on Twitter about places you want to go. Are you coming to Toronto? Places you want to visit? Let's sum this up into one thing. Do you have a plan on touring? Any ideas about places you're going to be playing outside of Nashville?
Right, outside of Nashville, my next show is going to be in Greenville, Texas. It'll be a homecoming show, and I'm believing that we're going to pack out the house. It'll probably be over 1,000 people, hopefully there. So that'll be my next one. Right now, management and I will help make that decision.
Nice.
So as to where we go next. But yes, I will be singing. Yes.
And is there a website is there a website if your fans want to keep track of what you're doing, where you're playing? Is there a way they can keep track of that schedule?
Yeah, I would say at this point, watch on Twitter. I'm pretty active on there, and I have a lot of great fans that keep up with that. But Twitter and Facebook, if you just Google Josh Holiday Music, that will be the source. I have Josh Holiday music.com, and right now we're just getting that up and running. So,
Sydney asks if you could listen to one song for the rest of the year. I love this question. What song would that be?
Yeah. Roar by Katy Perry.
Nice.
That is what pop music should be. It has a great message. It's incredible.
You didn't have to think about that. Sharon said, "I heard you sang with Amy Grant. Is it true? And what did you sing?"
Yeah, I sang with Amy Grant. I almost signed with her manager, and we're talking that out with the group. Almost signed literally last week. So right now I'm in the middle of that talk, but they manage Amy Grant. Amy's becoming a friend. I got to go over to Vince Gill and Amy Grant's house and record some songs there, which are not released yet. And so I'm really excited. She's becoming more like a big sister. And so I got to sing with her at Belmont University last weekend.
That is cool. What an awesome story.
And somebody who's been through the gamut and through Christian music is Amy Grant. She's really she's got great experiences to share.
Pop.
Yeah.
I mean, what she's done, man, that's exactly what I want to do. So being with her management team would be a dream come true.
They're going to understand. They'd understand you.
Believing that's going to happen, man.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. This is from Banana. Banana. If you could go on tour with anyone, who would it be?
Oh, man. Right now, if I chose a pop artist, it would be Katy Perry. To sing with, Mariah would have to be. I love Mariah. Like, as a person, really got along with her. I love her. She followed me on Twitter for a little while. I love her.
Well, she followed you for a little while. What'd you do? Make her mad? So she like, nah, I'm defriending him.
What? No. It was. I don't know what it was, but I was still on the show when she. I mean, she followed me for a second, and then she didn't. But I mean, I don't care. I screenshotted that. I was followed by Mariah Carey, so I'm okay with that.
That's pretty. I don't care. That's cool. I make a joke about it, but that's still really cool.
All right, couple more questions from Twitter. This one is from Fan for Cody. If you had a pet dinosaur, what would you name it?
Oh my god, I don't have a clue. I would get.
These are your fans, brother.
Elvis,
nice.
Elvis would be what I would name it.
Actually,
do you remember that movie with those little baby dinosaurs?
Oh, yeah.
The cool T-Rex that was named Elvis? That's exactly what I would name it.
There you go.
And this is probably my favorite question the last one. This is from Marilyn. She wants to know if you're twerking while you're answering questions.
Good Lord.
See? These are your fans, man.
No, and I don't recommend. I don't recommend twerking in any situation unless it's a really funny situation. I don't think twerking is good.
And then listen, my last question for you, and
he's been waiting to ask this question.
I have been, because there was so much press last year, and I'm sure you saw it after you had left the show. There was so much press about friction between the judges, more specifically between Mariah and Nicki Minaj. I don't know why her name escaped me. I love that Boom 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 song. As a contestant, you laugh at me, but it's true. Once you get it in your head, you can't get it out. But as a contestant, did you feel any of that? Was there a vibe that those two were knocking heads? Was it really kind of orchestrated in the press? Was it something you guys felt? What did you feel on that?
I know they genuinely had disagreements, but my personal experience was that I did not see them. I think they had a lot of their disagreements early on in the season, because that was the story at the beginning of it. They really hashed that up. They really played it up. They really did that in the beginning part of the season. I think somewhere around Hollywood Week, they had worked it out and at least become civil, because I never saw them. I mean, they did not talk to each other. I can say that. They were not best friends. I don't see them out having lunch together, but they were nice. And I even saw Mariah gave, after all of us made it into the top 40, she said, hey, I have a special friend coming on stage, and she had a guy dressed up as Santa Claus walk on stage, and then he gave all the guys boxers, and he gave all the girls lingerie, and she threw a lingerie at Nicki Minaj, and I was up there, and I had just split my pants on national television, which ended up making Yahoo News the next day. And so I was up there with my half of my leg, like, literally hanging out on, having to sing for my life. And then Mariah Carey starts singing All I Want for Christmas Is You, and then they're throwing around lingerie and boxers, and I'm sitting there, and then Randy Jackson comes up behind me, and he, like, rubs my shoulder and says, that was a great job, so good. Keith Urban is playing his guitar, and so all this is happening. So, I mean, it's one of the most surreal moments I've ever lived in my life, and I think by Hollywood, they had really hashed it out and didn't have as much chaos as they had earlier in the season.
That means you had your own wardrobe malfunction.
You did.
I did, yeah.
It's time to book you to the Super Bowl, man. We can just skip all the middle ground. Josh Holiday. Listen, Josh. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, man. As for somebody with a song dropping and everything you've done, and going to Nashville and doing all this, you are amazingly level-headed and a great guy to talk to. And you tell your mom she did a phenomenal job. You are a great guy to talk to, and I hope that no matter how big you get, we get you back on this show again in the future. And I'm going to follow.
I'd love to. I think Amy has a great thing. She says, be gracious on the way up and be gracious on the way down. And I think what I love about the experience that I've had so far is I've had the hype of walking around Hollywood and being able to be in situations that most people just dream about. But I've also had the humbling experience of what happens when you get on that plane and you go home and you're cut. And I think we have to find our identity in something much greater than our careers.
That's right. He's 100% right.
You know, and that cannot be the basis of where we find our strength, our hope, our faith. We can't find it in that, because that's always going to change. So my goal is just to stay steady throughout it all, and that's something you have to fight for.
That's right.
Really something you have to fight for, because people, like, I got tired of talking about myself. Like, this is one of the first interviews I've done in months, because I got so sick of just talking about me, me, and it wasn't even me talking about me. It was everybody else wanting to talk about me. Like, whenever I got home to Texas, I just wanted to be in my room, lay down. I didn't want attention because I'd just been in front of 15 million people. And now I'm so glad that I've had these few months to just kind of get settled again and then go do this. And so I'm really excited to really get back at it. So.
Well, and I want to make this point because Josh does a good job of making it, but I'm going to kind of crunch it all here.
You're going to be a conservative.
No. But essentially, what he's saying is the music is part of him, but it doesn't define him, and that's a big thing, I think, for a lot of these individuals that have to go through what he's gone through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Josh,
for better or for worse.
That's right.
It just can't be your identity. It can be a part of you. It to me, it's a catalyst. It's just a bridge for me to impact people.
There you go.
So it's just a vehicle that I use that I get to impact people with. If I couldn't sing, I'd figure out something else to do to touch people. So, and to reach them. So I'm just really glad that I get to sing for a living.
Josh, listen, man, you're welcome on the show anytime. I'm hoping we'll get you booked again soon, and we'll have Desi keep in contact with you so we can get you on again. And good luck at everything you're doing, man. I hope the single does amazingly well for you.
Great song, absolutely great. I know I'm going to go get it on Tuesday now.
And more importantly, man, God bless. But you just keep doing what you're doing, and great things are coming, man. I just feel it.
Thanks. God bless you too.
All right.
I will hopefully see y'all soon.
We'll talk soon. And keep in mind, you come to Seattle. We got a game with your name on it.
Okay, I will let you know. I'll let you know if I come up there. Hopefully I will.
That's a long flight.
It's a long flight for.
Thank you.
All right, there goes Josh Holiday again.
Thank you, Josh.
Again, there's going to be a point in Josh's career where it ceases to be the guy that was in the top 21 at American Idol and becomes the guy that's cutting music and dropping singles. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And this is what he's working towards now. Mm-hmm. And the single was great and a good guy. I mean, we've interviewed a lot of people on here. we've talked to a lot of people. I've interviewed a lot of people personally, and some people you just feel like they're just talking because they want to talk about themselves. They want to push their agenda.
This is going to
sound. He was not that guy.
It's going to sound funny to compare him, but in a lot of ways, his attitude and his take on a lot of things very Terry Bradshaw-esque. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
very,
I would
very,
agree with that.
very similar. The deep Southern Texas, Louisiana Christian style roots, and I dig it. I just dig it. It's great.
Well, we're wishing positive things for Josh Holiday. Good interview, and good job on Desi for hooking up the interview. As an intern, she's been the best intern we've ever had. Only intern we've ever had, but the best intern we've ever had.
Actually, not the only one.
And again,
we've actually had like 3 or 4.
Mindy Byers can learn much from Desi. Take some notes, Mindy. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back out of the break, we're going to switch gears completely. For those of you listening to the show for the interview, this will be up and available on our podcast section. So give it a day or so before it's up.
And the entirety of the show will be available on YouTube.
Yeah, the entirety of the show will be available on YouTube as well. Yep. For those of you who want to get a hold of Josh's track, it'll be available wherever you get your tracks on Tuesday.
Amazon, your digital download tracks.
Yeah, digital download. Amazon, iTunes, wherever. Look for it on Tuesday, and stay tuned to the network. We're gonna follow Josh. We'll try to get him on again. Around the corner, we're gonna change everything up. We're gonna get Stephen Gardner with the Kitsap stuff. We're gonna talk some NFL games. The Hawks annihilate Jacksonville. That's not the shocker. San Francisco, that was a shocker.
We're also going to be talking about an interesting, stellar situation that is coming our way in November through January that you're going to find incredibly interesting. I'm going to throw some math at you and something that might be completely erroneous and mean nothing, but it could mean everything.
We're back after this. Top of the hour news is next. Thanks again, Josh Holiday. Outlaw Radio Network.com. EdgeMediaSource.com.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Barbara Klein. Kenya's military officials say most of the people trapped since yesterday inside Nairobi's Westgate shopping mall have been freed. The Somali extremist group Al-Shabaab is claiming responsibility for the attack that has claimed at least 68 lives, according to Kenya's Red Cross. The BBC's Mike Wooldridge is in Nairobi, where today Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta gave a public statement.
I think it was clear that President went to great lengths to stress that Kenya was, as he put it, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multicultural society, and that the Al-Shabaab militants wouldn't succeed if their aim was to give the opposite impression and to divide this society further. He also said, again very firmly, that this wouldn't lead his government, to pull Kenyan troops out of Somalia, because, of course, that was the justification used by Al-Shabaab for carrying out this attack. They said it was a retaliation for Kenya sending its troops into Somalia.
That's the BBC's Mike Wooldridge reporting from Nairobi. Meanwhile, the State Department says it's reviewing a list ostensibly released by Al-Shabaab that names 9 attackers. 3 of them included are identified as being from the U.S. President Obama is renewing his call for new steps to prevent gun violence, but he says any movement will have to begin outside Washington. NPR's Scott Horsley reports the president made the appeal today at a memorial service for the victims of last week's massacre at the Washington Navy Yard.
President Obama says if America really wants to honor the 12 people who were killed at the Navy Yard last week, it will have to confront what he calls an epidemic of gun violence. Obama made similar comments after earlier massacres in Colorado and Connecticut. While his push for gun safety legislation stalled in the Senate, Obama says Americans should not resign themselves to a future of routine gun violence.
By now, though, it should be clear that the change we need will not come from Washington, even when tragedy strikes Washington. Change will come the only way it ever has come, and that's from the American people.
Obama says the country also needs better mental health care, and he's ordered a review of security at military bases. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
The U.S. Navy says it's rescued 3 crew members who were aboard a Nighthawk helicopter that crashed in the Red Sea early today. Search efforts continue for 2 others. The Navy says no hostile activity was involved in the incident, and an investigation is underway. In Iraq, another suicide bombing of mourners at a funeral today has targeted a gathering in a mostly Sunni district of Baghdad, killing at least 16 people. Yesterday, suicide bombers struck a funeral in the capital's predominantly Shiite Sadr city, killing more than 70. This is NPR. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has secured a 3rd term in today's elections, according to preliminary results, but her center-right coalition has apparently not won an absolute majority of seats in parliament, so Merkel will have to negotiate a new coalition. Her conservative union bloc won about 42% of the vote. That's 8 points more than they won in the last election 4 years ago. Russia says it's prepared to send military observers to Syria. From Moscow, NPR's Corey Flintoff reports the observers would help provide security for efforts to eliminate the Syrian government's chemical weapons.
Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says Russia would not be sending a large number of troops, but would be willing to contribute observers to help secure areas where chemical weapons experts would do their work. At the same time, Lavrov criticized efforts by Western governments to get a UN resolution authorizing the use of force if Syria fails to keep its promises to give up chemical weapons. Russia is Syria's main international ally. As if to underscore the dangers of working in Syria, Russia says a rebel mortar shell struck the grounds of its embassy in Damascus, injuring 3 workers. Corey Flintoff, NPR News, Moscow.
Gas prices are down 6 cents a gallon over the last 2 weeks, according to analyst Trilby Lundberg.
The crude oil price drop that allowed refiners to cut wholesale gasoline prices has already, in the main, hit the retail sector, and many retailers and dealers will be able to cut price as well who haven't done so yet.
The average for a gallon of regular is now $3.52. I'm Barbara Klein, NPR News in Washington.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wished no more? It's ISPNsports.com, Kitsap's only live and local all-sports 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNsports.com.
The Kitsap Humane Society is an independent nonprofit committed to providing positive, life-changing solutions to people and companion animals. Our vision is that every adoptable animal has a home. In 2010, we rehomed 4,111 pets. For more information on our programs, services, and animals available for adoption, visit us on the web at kitsap-humane.org. Kitsap Humane Society. Rescue, rehabilitate, rehome.
The Legacy Group in Silverdale is a well-respected independent mortgage banker, absolutely committed to helping Kitsap County families on their path to home ownership. As an employee-owned company, the Legacy Group has a strong stake in your success, and they want to be your lifetime partner in helping you develop a strong real estate portfolio. Call the Legacy Group in Silverdale today at 698-6440 and find out how they can help you get started on the road to home ownership. 698-6440 for the Legacy Group, a lending experience that's a little different and a lot smarter.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
The Home Buyers Association of Kitsap County is an association of professional builders, subcontractors, service providers, and purveyors representing the home building industry. For more than 50 years, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County has provided information, education, and services that promote the health and welfare of the home building industry. As leaders of the industry, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County fosters safe, affordable housing and addresses issues affecting our industry. To find out more, visit them online at kitsap.hba.com.
Did you know volunteering with the Bremerton Central Lions Club can be fun? Community services for everyone. Young people, families, men, women. As a volunteer, you'll help your community and gain valuable skills, network with others, energize your life, make an impact, and have fun. Get in step with your community and volunteer. Visit us at bremertoncentralwa.lionwap.org.
All right, it's the Outlaw Radio Network. I do love this song too, though.
Oh man, it's just like every time Caleb gets over behind
he
the
was
board,
in here talking to
it's
you.
the same 4 songs all the time. Actually, the same 2 of 4 songs most of the time.
All around me. I told you I'm working on new bumps for the show.
Yeah, that's true.
You know.
Yeah,
just music outs.
Yeah.
Music outs, because you do the ins.
Right.
I'm gonna get to.
I'll do the ins. You do the outs. That'll work good.
Well, the outs are easy for me. I just do.
You
know,
just
45-second clips of songs that I like.
Yeah.
And thanks for checking out the show, Outlaw Radio Network. Trojo joins us in studio. You freshly shaved your head, my friend.
I'm going to tell you why Trojo showed up so early tonight.
Fix his mic, will you?
Trojo showed up so early tonight and in such a great mood because of what his Dallas Cowboys managed to do today. That's why he showed up the way he did today.
Did they win? I haven't looked at the scores yet.
Of course, yeah.
Well, don't say of course.
It was one of those games where if they wouldn't have won this one, they season was going to tank.
Well, let's just put it this way: they generated enough of a lead throughout the first 3.5 quarters of the game.
Yeah.
They didn't have to worry about Tony Romo giving it away. There we go.
You know what? It's amazing that you say something like that because I did a little bit of stat history myself. Did a little bit of look up, and I know you like to do things like this, so I know you'll follow me up on this. When you look at Romo's history of being 1-6 in win or go home games, and they blame it all on the quarterback. Did you know?
Which is unfortunate.
Did you know in 4 of those games when he went out the game, they had the lead?
When he went, you mean the defense lost the game? Is what you said.
The defense gave up the lead in 4 of the games that they put him in it as 1-6. So at what point do you say, is it all on Romo?
Yeah.
Well, if he's not in the game and he's not controlling it, how can you blame him?
Fumbled the gimme field goal when they went up against Seahawks.
Okay, so
he chokes.
Just the one time. That game, but out of the 1-6, which he won one.
Listen, you're still the same guy.
Out of one of
you're the same guy who said you would take Romo over Russell Wilson.
Yes, I would.
You're the same. Even now, you take Romo over Russell Wilson.
Now,
you are a tool.
Yes, I would. Even now.
All right, you're a tool.
And here's the reason why. Because the offense that is being ran here in Seattle works great for Russell Wilson. It would not work the same way. That offense, the way Jason Garrett is building the offense, trying to build an offense down in Dallas, it wouldn't work for Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson is a scrambling quarterback, and they don't like their quarterbacks to get out. They make their quarterbacks pocket passers. Period.
I
so
get
it wouldn't
that.
work. It wouldn't work.
And I appreciate that. But again, you build your offense to fit your personnel, not the other way around.
You do know who the owner of the Dallas Cowboys are.
I get that,
and you do.
I get that.
Okay, then,
but you build your offense to fit your personnel. So if the Dallas Cowboys could suddenly have Russell Wilson, they would put in a better offense and it would fit his skills. Yes.
If you notice, I'm not disagreeing with you on that set, but I am disagreeing with you to the point that with the quarterback, with the. My mind isn't thinking tonight. With the head coach and the owner that they have down there, it wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked.
All right.
They wouldn't have built it around him.
I did see the perfect sign today at the Seahawks game. There was a fan of the sign that there was a fan in the stands that was holding up a sign that said, "You drafted a punter instead of Russell Wilson." They drafted a punter in the third round ahead of the Seahawks picking Russell Wilson.
Who did that? The Dallas Cowboys?
No, Jaguars.
Oh, the Jaguars.
Yeah,
Jaguars.
Okay. So we don't have Steven Gardner yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, I thought they was going to use the other kid from American Idol and had him be an American guest picker, but I guess I was wrong.
No, because he said you didn't really know football. Although I think we should do that when we have a cool guest like that. We should make them be our guest picker.
Whether you know football or not, I mean, hey, throw your hand. You don't have to. It's not about winning and losing. It's about being. It's about having fun.
No, some things are about winning.
Well,
and
let's
losing.
do this, Paul. Do you want to switch gears for a second? Let's give it a half. Let's give it. Can you cover your topic in about 10 minutes?
I can. Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do that. Let's cover your topic. Do it till 9:29.
Okay,
and then at 9:29 we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll do our football picks. If Steve Gardner from the Kids Have Someone's available, we'll bring him in, and if not, the three of us will do it ourselves, and we'll reschedule him for another time.
Okay, I'm down. So listen, I have
down with the clown.
Funny that you would say down with the cloud.
I said clown, but okay.
I am gonna. I want you to pull up a calculator for me. All right.
Okay.
On your computer there.
I can do that. Yeah, I got the calculator up right here.
Yep. And I'm gonna throw some numbers at you and some information, and then I'm gonna ask you guys if you think that there's anything to it or not to it. Okay. So this is interesting, fascinating stuff. So don't look at my computer screen. I don't want you to get any forewarning. Okay.
I won't.
All right. So this year is stop it. This is the year 2013, right?
Sure, trust a black man not to steal a glance. All right. I had to say that.
Would you like to throw that flashlight with a battery in it
on.
at him? You can't.
No.
It's okay.
No.
He is as racist as Mindy Byers sometimes. I swear to God.
No. Trojo knows I love him, and I'm just picking on him.
Yeah, but I'll throw your
Yeah. I'm sure the cracker that was running around with a whip said the same thing.
Trojo knows I'm playing.
Quacker! You're not about a quacker! Quacker!
Yeah. Anyway, did you pull up a calculator?
Yeah, I had the calculator right here.
All right, you got the calculator right there. All right, so the year is 2013. Subtract 333 from it for me, would you?
From 2013 minus 313?
333 years, yeah.
That's 1680.
Okay. In 1680, okay? And then I want you to remember the number 1680. Now subtract another 333 from 1680, would you?
Okay, 1347.
Now let's just go ahead and stick with these two, because when you start building patterns in numbers, it becomes non-coincidental. Would you agree?
Generally, yeah.
Generally? Would you agree with that, Trojo?
Sure.
Okay. I have spoken at length on this show over the past year about something that is about to occur here in November. Okay? It is spoken about in Hopi prophecy, and some believe in biblical prophecy. In the Hopi prophecy, they refer to it as the Blue Star Kachina. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to this.
Okay.
We talked about this comet that was discovered.
I know where you're going with
This
that.
is Comet Ison. ISON. Again, you can look this up yourselves. Comet Ison. ISON. Discovered last year. Okay? Now, we go back 333 years to a comet that came through the solar system.
Right.
It was a bright blue comet. And that year was 1680. Okay? It was so bright it was even visible in the daytime. Okay? They had daylight for days, no night for days. Okay? In that year of 1680, they had what was called the Great Plague of Vienna. Okay? Bubonic plague.
Okay.
1680. Okay. And that comet was called Comet Kirch. Kirch. Comet Kirch.
Okay.
All right? Now, Comet Ison is a bright blue comet. Okay? They thought that it was a big comet of a big ball of ice and stuff like that, but over the last year, you may remember that NASA slammed a projectile into a passing comet in order to determine its makeup, what it was made of. Okay? And they found that their actually assumptions about comets were wrong. Comets are not. For all the years we were always taught, an asteroid is rock.
Right.
A comet is a ball of ice. Well, that turns out not to be the case. In point of fact, comets are large iron and metallic and rock objects that just have a neutral I forget the exact word, but it has to do with the electricity and electrons and all that stuff.
Sure.
But what happened, and since they spend most of their time in deep space, as they come through inner solar systems, they're struck by the positive energy of the sun, which heats them up and causes their big bright tails and makes them really bright and shine in the sky, okay? All right. Now we go back 333 years from the Great Plague of Vienna in 1680 and Comet Kirch. We get the year what? 1347.
Yes.
Flying through the sky, Comet Negra, Negra. Again, you can look it up. Comet Negra, Negra. It passed close to the planet Earth, and for many months, it was a great sight in the night sky. And when that comet was no longer visible, do you know what happened?
No.
The Black Death. The Black Plague.
Okay.
Now, to this day, scientists do not and have not been able to identify the source point of the Black Plague. In other words, when microbiologists and researchers go and research a disease or a virus, they're able to genetically track it, usually to a source region or area, and say, okay, it started in Siberia in 1984. Okay, and then it spread from there. Okay, they're normally able to do that. To this day, they've never been able to determine where the Black Plague come from, which is why some people have speculated that it came from an asteroid impact. And now there is what I am saying to you does not have any basis in scientific fact other than the facts that we know, which is that 666 years ago, a comet called Negra passed by the Earth. It was bright blue in color. It lit up the night sky and made it daylight for a week or so.
Right.
And after the comet passed, okay, now the issue isn't the comet passing.
Okay.
Let's make that very clear.
Right.
The issue is that when these comets get their electrons get excited and the sun hits them and warms them up, do you know what they release? They release hydrogen and they release oxygen, which become combined to form what?
Hydrogen and oxygen?
H2O.
Yeah, water. Yeah.
Okay? And then the Earth passes through the tail.
Okay.
Which is what's going to happen again. Okay? That comet is going to fly by the Earth in November, and we are going to pass through its tail in January. Okay?
Okay.
333 years ago, the Great Plague of Vienna occurred with a comet with the same listed physical characteristics. Okay? If you go back and look at the great artists of the 13th and 14th century, there's one profound thing in all of their paintings when they do paintings of the Black Death. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's a comet in the sky.
Comet in the sky, yeah.
Have you seen those paintings?
Yeah. I've
Okay.
seen a few.
So
and they all spoke about a big blue
comet. The Hopi prophecy spoke of the blue star Kachina. Okay, and all of the things that were going to occur around that. We're not going to get into all that right now. I'm just drawing the parallel
whole different subject,
that these numbers, and when you keep going back every 333 years, you find disease outbreak and plagues on planet Earth. Including, if you continue to follow them back 333 years, you wind up within the 7-year window of what happening? The Exodus. Now, I'm not drawing a correlation. I'm simply saying that as you go back every 333 years and you look at these events that have unfolded, these you can call them not climate changers, but things that have occurred where people have been, there've been mass die-offs, large diseases and stuff like that. So I will ask you guys, at what point when you look at something like this, now I have developed my own opinion about this, and I'll give that after I ask you guys. When you see numbers like this come out, well, let's see it. Comet, same look, has the same characteristics, and flies by every 333 years. Go ahead, Caleb.
I was just going to say, weren't you guys doing football picks or something?
Yeah, but
we were holding off to see if Stephen Gardner's back by
see if we can get our guest on. So when you see this comet come through, and for example, in the Bible, it talks about wormwood. It talks about the destroyer.
Right.
So when you see numbers like this and they jump out and they correlate, there's a direct correlation. 1680, Comet Kirch and the Great Plague of Vienna, and Comet Nigra 333 years earlier in 1347, which was the beginning of the Black Death, the Black Plague. Are you able to correlate that and draw a connection within your own minds? Tro?
Well, if you're looking at it from the standpoint of the way the numbers are set, first and foremost, I mean, you got 333, and then you look at it from a biblical standpoint that 666 years ago. And
Mark of the beast.
You throw that number in there, then it's like 666, which is the mark of the beast. So I mean,
it's almost too coincidental, isn't it?
It can't. I will say this: I'd never thought about it in that realm.
I hadn't
but
either.
If you put it in a biblical standpoint of it being the mark of the beast, and for those who are religious or have some type of some form of religion or have did any type of studies about the mark of the beast, then this one would be kind of interesting because every 333 years or so when this thing comes through, death seems to follow. So that one I'd say is rather interesting. I need to do a little bit more research and study on that myself.
And I will gladly send you some information, brother. Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's giving me that look like, are you f***ing kidding me?
Yeah.
You cannot.
That is
doesn't
the look
he have
he's
that
giving,
look?
But I mean, at the same time, hey, you can give that look. But if you're looking at it from the standpoint, from a religious standpoint, now I can understand his look too. But
I just stumbled upon this the other day, so I'm not.
See what you say, and
that's why I wanted to talk about it.
No, you're
tonight.
fine. You're good to go. I mean, I understand. I get where you come with the numbers. I don't agree. I don't find any credence in it. I think that people have been prophesizing for.
No, I'm not talking about this isn't about prophecy. This is about the numbers that are in front of you. Do you draw any correlation?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Why not?
Only because I think that people can twist numbers to mean whatever they want it to mean, and I don't put any.
Well, who's twisting what numbers?
I'm just telling you.
I mean, the Comet Nigra did pass the Earth in 1347, and right after it passed, the Black Plague broke out.
Okay.
And again in 1683, exactly 333 years later, Comet Kirch went by, and the Great Plague of Vienna broke out, which was basically the second if you will, the second coming of the Black Death in Europe. It literally wiped out 30% of the population. Now, again, that's a 333-year cycle.
Okay.
So I'm just
I'm not discounting your argument. I'm just saying
it's a blue comet, and it's been all three times that are recorded. It was a blue comet that lit up the night sky for a week ish. We don't have any records on how long. We just know we're told that the ancient records tell us that it lit up the night sky for weeks. And at least the last two times that this comet. Now remember, I say remember. I haven't actually told you this, but they haven't been able to determine Comet Ison's trajectory or its path because it's too big.
Right.
So it's like Halley's Comet. They know is every 76 years.
Right.
Okay. Comet Hale-Bopp is every 40 years or something like that. I don't know, something like that.
75 too, but
it might be.
Something like
it might be. But the point is that this comet has such a large orbit they don't know what it is yet. So so it could easily be the same comet, and that's what these astronomers are drawing the correlation to. Remember, science is just best guess. And so when you put your best guess out there and you look at these numbers and you say, when you eliminate the impossible, to quote Sherlock Holmes, no matter what remains, irrespective of how improbable, is therefore your answer. Now, I'm not saying they are the same, but I'm saying there seems to be a lot of empirical data to suggest that they could be. So, Kevin, are you saying that these definitely aren't the same thing?
I'm saying that there's no correlation between those and the outbreak of Black Death or whatever. I just don't think they're related.
How do you know they're not? But you don't know they're not.
I don't know that they're not related.
You just want to think that they're not related.
I just don't believe that they're related.
But what do you base that on? That's what I'm asking.
I'm just basing it on my gut feeling and my understanding of what fueled the bubonic plague in the first place.
Nobody knows what fueled it in the first place.
They know that it was carried by fleas.
Yeah, that's all they know.
But that's what they know.
Yeah, that's all that they know.
So wait, hold on.
They don't know where it started. That's the point. They don't know where it started.
They don't know where it was started. But what they believe is that fleas were carrying it. So when you eliminated, all right, we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, if I were you, I would too.
We're just gonna leave it at that. Just like Planet X, and I was right about that. We'll leave it at that. Hey, football picks are next. We'll try to call Stephen Gardner during the break. If he's not available, we're doing it without him. But he's a Dodger fan, so he can take respite in the fact that his team's making the playoffs and ours isn't.
Let him God.
NFL picks are next. Outlaw Radio Network. St. Paul, the voice of doom and gloom.
Trojo, the voice of reason.
We're back after this. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
As Kitsap County's largest maintenance provider, Team Innovative in Paulsbo provides commercial and residential maintenance to hundreds of millions of dollars of local real estate. With services including parking lot maintenance and street cleaning to landscape and design, Team Innovative is committed to using a green approach and following a strong environmental conscience. Team Innovative Services, 697-6858, or visit them online at getinnovative.net. Team Innovative Services, get serious, get innovative.
Hey, sports fans, have you ever wished there was a live and local all-sports broadcasting network, but wished no more? It's ISPNsports.com, Kitsap's only live and local all-sports, 24-hour broadcasting network, featuring the Kitsap Blue Jackets, Olympic College Rangers, high school athletics, and the ISPN Sports Show every Saturday morning from 10 to noon with interviews from exclusive guests from around the Sound. So, you want sports? Go to ISPNsports.com.
The Kitsap Humane Society is an independent nonprofit committed to providing positive, life-changing solutions to people and companion animals. Our vision is that every adoptable animal has a home. In 2010, we rehomed 4,111 pets. For more information on our programs, services, and animals available for adoption, visit us on the web at kitsap-humane.org. Kitsap Humane Society. Rescue, rehabilitate, rehome.
The Legacy Group in Silverdale is a well-respected independent mortgage banker, absolutely committed to helping Kitsap County families on their path to home ownership. As an employee-owned company, the Legacy Group has a strong stake in your success, and they want to be your lifetime partner in helping you develop a strong real estate portfolio. Call the Legacy Group in Silverdale today at 698-6440 and find out how they can help you get started on the road to home ownership. 698-6440 for the Legacy Group, a lending experience that's a little different and a lot smarter.
Located 3520 Kitsap Way in Bremerton, Arnold's Home Furnishing has been serving the Kitsap County community since 1951. For nearly 60 years, Arnold's has been here taking care of its customers with excellent customer service and quality merchandise you'll find nowhere else. And visit arnoldshomefurnishing.com to view all the merchandise available and see their current promotions. Arnold's Home Furnishing, to fit every lifestyle and budget.
The Home Buyers Association of Kitsap County is an association of professional builders, subcontractors, service providers, and purveyors representing the home building industry. For more than 50 years, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County has provided information, education, and services that promote the health and welfare of the home building industry. As leaders of the industry, the Home Builders Association of Kitsap County fosters safe, affordable housing and addresses issues affecting our industry. To find out more, visit them online at kitsap.hba.com.
Did you know volunteering with the Bremerton Central Lions Club can be fun? Community services for everyone. Young people, families, men, women. As a volunteer, you'll help your community and gain valuable skills. Network with others, energize your life, make an impact, and have fun. Get in step with your community and volunteer. Visit us at bremertoncentralwa.lionwap.org.
Top dollar for a board op and get the same music over and over again.
Get what you pay for. Outlaw Radio Network.com. St. Paul, the voice of doom and gloom.
K-Dog, the
voice of
Mr.
reason.
Politically Correct, libtard.
And I'm just Trojo.
Just Trojo. Just Trojo. Staying out of trouble, are we?
Actually, I think last week we agreed to go with Trojo, the color commentator, right?
That's right. He's the color commentator.
Okay, that's funny.
We set that up while you were gone.
That's funny. Trojo, the color commentator.
Hey, can you make my laptop
Is it
hot?
colored commentator?
Color commentator.
Colored commentator.
However they say it, however you say it.
That's what you're fine with. You're like, whatever they say, that's fine with.
It is what it is. You know,
Trojo, the colored commentator.
Trojo, the color commentator.
That's right. All right. Can we do our football picks?
Do we have a choice?
Let's go over the results from last week, shall we?
All right, let's do that. Oh, good Lord.
I really don't even know what I did.
All right, here we go. These are the results from last week. First, our guest picker was Paul Edwards. Remember Paul Edwards?
Mm-hmm.
He was our guest picker last week.
Mm-hmm.
Him and I did really bad. We tied for second, though, with 7 wins apiece.
There were a ton of upsets this week.
Came in last with 6. St. Paul got 10.
Amen.
Which will put Paul in the first place.
How the heck did that happen?
I'm just good.
He picked by Facebook. I sent him the message and made him pick Tuesday or Wednesday.
In fact, see, I do things like for the double down. Okay, it was Kansas City and Philly. I took Philly to win and then doubled down on Kansas City,
right?
Just to make sure that I was going to pick up a point or two no matter which way it went.
And I'd actually sent in a message to try to get change my picks to the Colts winning.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they won or not, but
the Colts won.
You never sent me a message.
No, I know. I tried to send it in, but
he couldn't figure out if he actually had to push the send button or there wasn't another one.
You know?
Well, wait. If it was a Niners fan, do I push the send button or do I just sit in the corner and cry?
Because after the wrenches got traded over, I was like, I really need to change.
I want to give a couple props though, really quick. Props to me for picking the Jets to beat the Buffalo Bills. I was the only one that did it. Props to Paul for picking Tennessee to beat San Diego and Cincy to beat Green Bay, and Baltimore to beat Houston. He's the only one that picked those games.
Yeah.
And props to Trojo for
Absolutely nothing.
For not being born.
He's like struggling to look. I never mind. I
For
can't
not
find
being
nothing.
born 150 years ago.
Actually, you can give me. Hey, wait. I'll take my props if you can't think of one.
What is it?
Props to me for putting a double down on Dallas.
You didn't. You put a double down on the Giants.
I put double down on Dallas.
You have a double down on the Giants.
No, sir.
You put a double down on the Giants.
Oh, wow.
Against Carolina. You couldn't.
I thought the Giants were going to beat Carolina too. I did not see that ass whooping coming.
You didn't put a double down on the Giants. You put a
And
double
by
down on
the
the
way,
Giants.
yeah, I think it might be right. But by the way, speaking of the Giants, I will go on record here and say, as of right now, the Giants
are done.
is absolutely the worst team in the NFL. I would pick them. I would pick the Jaguars after what
Did you see
I
the
saw
Seahawks
today.
game today?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean, let's think about who the Jaguars are playing too. I mean, come on.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, but I would definitely pick the Jets over the Giants. And I'm teetering on whether or not I pick the Jaguars over the Giants right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty bad up there in New York. When Buffalo,
Why you
right
got
now was
little
your
red
best
hearts
team?
all over
Woo!
Desiree's, all over Dez's little page
It's
there.
the comments from people
You
on
should
Twitter.
see his page
It's
over
the
here,
comments
Des.
from people on Twitter for
Your
the
little
interview.
comments pop up to him, and there's little hearts all over the place.
It's the comments from the people for the interview from
Hey,
Twitter.
whatever. It's your story. Tell it how you want, brother.
It really is, though.
Thank
it
you.
actually is.
Thank you.
It actually is.
All right.
What?
By the way, we do have breaking news. This is off of ProFootballMock.com. I want to read this because this is just too good not to read. This is out of San Francisco.
This is absolutely too funny.
This is for Marisa, by the way. 49ers head coach Jim Harbaugh responding to questions regarding the arrest of Aldon Smith on suspicion of DUI and possession of marijuana, claimed the record-setting volume of Seattle Seahawks home crowd in the game between the two teams last weekend was a contributing factor in the linebacker's current legal predicament. Quote, I don't want to blame Alden's problems completely on the Seahawk fans, but I certainly think it didn't help. It's pretty easy to draw a line here. Seahawks fans are ridiculously loud, giving them an unfair competitive advantage. As a result, we lost the game against a clearly inferior opponent. Therefore, Alden sought to drown his sorrows, as any reasonable person would, with liquor, weed, and an early morning joyride. Frankly, I'm surprised the rest of the team wasn't out doing the same thing. Added Harbaugh, it just shows that Alden cares more than the most, I guess. Yeah, it's a mock story, but
it's a mock
still
story.
Pretty,
It
still
is
funny.
though.
Harbaugh later said, if we lose Alden for any length of time over this matter, I will be livid. If anyone should be suspended for Alden's arrest, it should be the entire Seahawks starting lineup. I'm telling you, I haven't been this pissed since I have flankered hold by Baltimore quarterback Jimmy Smith in the Super Bowl that caused Michael Crabtree to injure his leg during our May mini camp. So, there you go. All right, let's pick games, shall we?
Hold on. How far in the lead am I now?
Well, you're 2 up on me now. Denver plays Oakland tomorrow night. We all picked Denver, so that game's not going to matter at all. And quite frankly, if Oakland wins tomorrow, Paul Edwards is going to want to hang himself from his shower curtain rod. So here we go. Here's your games. Thursday night. Do you know, in the time that Harbaugh has been in San Francisco, the Niners have never lost multiple games in a row, and they have never been below 500 until now.
They are now.
They now travel to St. Louis to take on the Rams. You remember the Rams?
The team that beat them and tied them last year.
They lost today to the Dallas Cowboys.
Big time.
I get to pick first. I would love to heap it on the Niners. But not even I think the Niners will lose to the Rams. I will take San Francisco. But if there is a God in heaven who likes football, if there is a God who is giggling his ass off at Harbaugh snarling on the sidelines, I pray the Rams win anyway. Paul?
That's a lot of credit to Harbaugh. It was my.
He is so bitter.
You seen the little commercial, the little amping up pro football commercial, and it's got the little squirrel going like this, and it's all blurred out. That's Harbaugh. He's the little squirrel on the sidelines going. Anyway,
that is outstanding.
Here's my point, my only point. Clearly, today in the game against the Colts, many of the San Francisco 49ers had still not recovered from the ass kicking they took in Seattle. And when they showed up on the field, they were still trying to shake off the concussions. So what I will say is there's no way that they go into St. Louis and lose to the Rams unless, of course, the Rams win. But I'm still going to pick San Francisco.
Okay, San Francisco.
Because right now, San Francisco's in third place in the division.
Oh, we'll get to the standings in a minute. By the way, Giorgio pick first before I say what I'm going to say. Go ahead.
I mean, it's pretty easy. This is actually a pretty easy pick. I mean,
yeah.
After watching that game today, St. Louis has got a lot of work to do before they're even able to compete. Not saying that San Francisco, look, San Francisco we can go ahead and turn it back around and play the way they did in the opening season.
Wait a minute.
This will be the game where San Francisco can turn their season around. I don't want them to. I'm still a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm very fond of the Seahawks. They're starting to win me over, but they'll never make me a full-fledged Seahawk fan as long as I got my Cowboys.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
San Fran.
There's no way.
I'm changing my pick. I'm going with St. Louis. I'm going to tell you why.
Because you need to make up games against St. Paul.
We got 14 weeks of football left.
Yep.
After the game, Aldon Smith was suspended for the indefinite future. This is a team that is reeling, and it just occurred to me they have a short week to get their head together. Mm-hmm. Colin Kaepernick has had his 2 worst games as an NFL quarterback. Harbaugh is not the kind of coach to rally a team. This is a team that has to go on the road to a dome. They will lose in St. Louis. They will run the losing streak to 3 in a row. Down goes Harbaugh! Down goes Harbaugh!
Yeah, your dreams are nice, but let's move on.
Whiny bitch. All right. Paul. Baltimore. On what I thought was an upset today, by the way, beating Houston. I just didn't see it coming. But Paul did. Travels to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Baltimore. Tro?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Baltimore. Although the Bills are no, I can't even try to pick that up. Baltimore.
Yeah, the Bills lost to the Jets today. When you lose to the Jets, you shall never be picked again. All right, I got Baltimore as well. Trojo. The Battle of Ohio, the state nobody wants. Cincinnati travels to Cleveland. Now, before you make this pick,
no, hold on.
Cleveland trades away the number 3 draft pick in last year's draft. You think they're going to get waxed today when they take on the Minnesota Vikings,
and they turned in a.
And they beat the Vikings.
They lose their top running back, and they did it with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Who threw, by the way, for over 300 yards.
Yeah. Brian Hoyer, who the hell that is.
Guess who didn't see that coming? John Clayton. Okay, go ahead.
Remember, last week, what did I say about the? I said about.
You got 11 minutes.
About the Vikings that their biggest problem right now is Christian Ponder.
You just don't like black quarterbacks.
Is on. That's just wrong. Ponder is in. He's on the chopping block. He's in bad shape right now. He cannot lead this team, and players around him have lost respect.
All right.
So yeah, I can't.
Who are you picking? Cleveland hosting Cincy.
Whew. Cincinnati, man. Good grief. Did you see that game today? I did.
I didn't know it was a church.
Oh, my God. That was a great game.
I'm picking Cincy, too.
God's only going to let you use that excuse so many times.
I just think Cincy's got something good going right now, and A.J. Green is a phenomenal receiver.
No, he's not. He's an average receiver. All right, move on.
Who are you picking?
For what game? Cincy? Oh, Cincinnati.
God, but you fucking moron.
I'm just answering it. Don't cuss.
I didn't. I just... All right. Chicago travels to Detroit. I keep expecting Detroit to do something and turn it around, and they keep continuing to disappoint me. The only thing that is disappointing me worse than Detroit was when I was married. Chicago will win. Paul?
Chicago.
Yeah. Trojo?
Oh, this is look. Y'all didn't see the game tonight. Now just make this real quick.
Yeah, we were doing a
Jay
radio
Cutler
show.
laid a lick on the defensive defensive back tonight. That actually made me proud. It was like, wow. The quarterback. If you wanted to Google, you could see this. Jay Cutler took out head on guy who tried to make a tackle on him, just knocked him back about 3-4 yards. Jay Cutler is a big quarterback. I don't like him, but what he did to that guy is going to have you will see replays of that.
Yeah, you taking Chicago?
Yeah, I got to take Chicago.
You know, nothing makes me happier than a Seahawk win, but a close second is watching Ben Roethlisberger lose.
Yes.
All right, Paul. The Giants travel to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. The Giants were waxed 38-0 to Carolina today. The Chiefs won on Thursday and have a long week.
You're going to think I'm crazy for this.
Oh no!
But I'm going to tell you, I think Eli Manning bounces back and they squeak out a close game, and the New York Giants win, get their first win of the year, and Kansas City gits brought back to reality.
All right, Tro.
Can I have some of whatever it is that you put in your drink? I mean, because you have got to be out.
Sorry, I don't think Kansas City's for real.
All right,
I don't.
Kansas City. It doesn't matter whether Kansas City's for real or not. New York Giants suck this year.
They really go as their quarterback goes. And right now, he has sucked.
All right,
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Yeah, I got Kansas City too. When in doubt, take the team that has the same initials that I do.
Listen, I can afford to give up a couple of games right now.
Trojo, Pittsburgh traveling to Minnesota. Listen, two teams playing each other need a win more than Pittsburgh and Minnesota. On one hand, it's Ben Roethlisberger, and on the other side, it's ponderous.
You know what?
Really,
I would have never thought that this one would be what you like to call the shit-stained game.
Shit-stained game of the week.
But
it's not, though. I got a better one for you.
I'm going to go with...
It's whoever Jacksonville's playing.
I guess I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in this because, I mean, the only thing that Minnesota's got going for him is Adrian Peterson, and he haven't been able to do it on his own.
All right, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go Minnesota. When it's a toss-up between two horrible teams...
Go with the home team.
Go with the home team. It's in a dome. It's going to make Peterson faster. And the Pittsburgh's defense is horrible. Paul?
Pittsburgh's hard to pick against even still, but I got to go with Minnesota.
The only way that Ben Roethlisberger could beat Minnesota is if he quartered them in a bathroom stall. All right, Arizona at Tampa Bay. This is your shit-stained game of the week. I don't know who to pick. On one hand, Tampa Bay hasn't won a game all year. On the other hand, Arizona has and shouldn't. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay because they're not going to go without a win all year. Paul?
Tampa Bay.
Tro?
Going the opposite direction. I'm going to go with Arizona.
Yeah, that's why you're last. Paul, this is an interesting game. On one hand, the Indianapolis Colts, who just picked up Trent Richardson and suddenly might be the team to beat in the AFC. On the other hand, a team who played famously today and looked fabulous, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oof.
You really got to actually stop and think about this?
Pick Jacksonville. I want to
Not a chance.
You really got to think about
Trojo?
this? Yeah, the Colts, man.
Indy, I got Indy as well. All right, here we go. Trojo, you pick first. The Seattle Seahawks travel back to your home state of Texas. We all picked Indy, just so you know. We all picked Indy. If you ever hear... See, because Desi keeps track of who we pick. If the option is Jacksonville, we all pick the opposite. Seattle travels to your home state of Texas.
Yes.
To take on the Houston Texans, who before the year were considered to be potentially a Super Bowl favorite. Now, after today's game, they were pathetic. Offensively, the running game was bad. Matt Schaub looked bad. They just did not look good. Can they turn it around before they face the Seahawks in Houston? Jojo.
This will be interesting. Seattle is still haven't shown that they're going to be good on the road, even though they played the one game in Carolina.
It's not a 10 a.m. start, though.
I'm actually going to go with Houston.
All right.
Tough,
Because you're a
but
douchebag.
I am going to go with Houston.
All right. I'm going to go with Seattle. Until somebody beats them, I will not pick against them. Paul?
And that's hard. It's hard. It's actually hard to sit and pick against them.
I think it's going to be a great game, but I think a lot of weaknesses have been exposed in the first 3 weeks of the season with regards to Houston.
Yeah.
And I think that they go down for their second straight loss.
Yeah. And Arian Foster's not looking good either. He's still hurt and playing hurt. So the Jets at Tennessee. I would call this a shit-stained game of the week, but Jake Locker suddenly looks like the second coming of Joe Montana. The Jets are bad. Tennessee is not great, but they're better than the Jets. I got Jake Locker. Paul?
Tennessee.
Tro? Be quick. Come on. You stall. We got 3 minutes.
Tennessee.
All right. Tennessee. Paul.
With the Tennessee. Same thing,
Philadelphia and their wannabe fast break offense, which has looked horrible the last 2 weeks.
Just Denver.
Travels to Denver. Denver. Trojo? Denver. Washington at Oakland. Trojo. So here's the question.
This would be your shit stain.
And here's the problem, because Trojo's like, I got a black quarterback over here, and a black quarterback over here.
It ain't got nothing to do with stop. It don't have the damn thing to do with black quarterback.
I don't know. You are the color commentator.
I am the color commentator, but
you're going to commentate on color.
What are you picking?
Are they in Oakland?
They are in Oakland.
Oh, my God. This is a tough one.
Yeah.
Oakland.
I'm picking Washington. Because, again, they're not going to go the whole year without a win, and Oakland's a horrible team.
Oakland is a horrible team.
Whoever's playing against Oakland, pick them.
All right, Washington. All right, I got to pick
as
first.
Washington is.
How's this? Dallas at San Diego. This is an interesting game to me. Because I don't know. I don't know if Dallas can win on the road. I mean, they look great at home, and then they go on the road, and they literally look like my ex-wife in the morning. On the other hand, it's Phillip Rivers. God. San Diego. Paul? Dallas at San Diego.
Actually, you're right, Kevin. This is a tough one to pick.
Yeah.
But I think that Dallas has proved right now, I think that they're a slightly better team.
Trojo, Dallas.
It's really not that hard because there's only one team in the league right now that has a better defense than Dallas, and that would be Seattle. That's it.
You're a crack smoker, too.
No, bottom line, there's only one.
I'm sorry, Kansas City's defense is better. Miami's defense is better. The Ravens' defense is better. You want me to keep going down the list?
Look at points put up and turnovers made. Dallas is second only.
First of all, you played the New York Giants. Throw your stats out the window.
Right, okay. But it was a season opener, and New York Giants was picked to do
Eli turned to his left and threw the ball straight to your player on defense.
And then they played Kansas City, and they held Kansas City to, well, they
Who won
lost,
that game?
16
Thank
points. 17 points. And
Tony
then
Romo has fumbled more balls than a Kardashian. Shut up. Paul.
He's only got Dallas. Of course you know who I'm picking, Dallas.
New England added, of course, I'm not even asking you that question. Paul, New England at Atlanta in what I think is the premier game of the week.
Game of the week.
It will be a
Atlanta
great game.
loses today to Miami.
It will be a good game, but New England does not have the tools on offense. Tom Brady was sending text messages to old players that aren't in the league to get them to try out.
Yeah. You got Atlanta?
It'll be Atlanta.
Trojo?
Yeah, Atlanta.
I'm going New England. And I'll tell you why. Because for whatever reason, Tom Brady, when he goes up against A-list teams, finds a way to just resuscitate.
I know. He does. You mad, bro?
You know what
they weren't an A-list team last year. I mean, they turned out to be one, but New England didn't know that coming in.
Much as I hate Tom Brady, do you know what his win-loss record is?
Stupidly good.
139 wins to 39 losses.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, last game, the Monday night game. What looked initially like it was going to be a horrible game, now suddenly looks good. Miami looks good.
Yeah,
They travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Trojo, you pick first.
Yeah, you're down in New Orleans and Drew Brees country. Yeah, New Orleans.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I got New Orleans as well.
Yeah? Well, you both are smoking something seriously good because I'm going to go with New Orleans, too.
All right, so now here's your double down games, and we'll go to break. Here's your opportunities. St. Louis, San Francisco, Kansas
Suddenly
City,
got a lot tougher to pick.
and the Giants. Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Seattle, Houston, Washington, Oakland, San Diego, Dallas, New England, Atlanta. I pick first. I am so confident in my pick of St. Louis beating the Niners on Thursday night. I'm so confident that the Niners are done, that Colin Kaepernick is now going to start his steady decline into the next Mark Sanchez, that I am going to pick St. Louis as my double down.
Really?
You know suicide's a sin, right?
Only if you're Catholic. Paul?
I'm so confident, to quote Kevin Chambers, in my Seattle Seahawks, I will double down on my Seattle Seahawks.
And Trojo, you picking Dallas?
No, actually.
Giants again? Pick the Giants one more
Oh
time.
no, Mona me. You just made this a very interesting double down because I'm going against the team. I'm going against you head up on this double down.
Oh, San Francisco?
Oh yes, sir.
All right, there we go. That cinches it.
Probably a good pick.
That cinches it right there. There we go. We're good.
It cinched the fact that if we all win our double downs, my ass is a lot further in the lead than I am tonight.
Well, we all can't win our double downs because me and him are going against
We
each
going
other.
head up.
So yeah,
So we both can't win.
one of us is not going to win.
All that matters is that I win. It doesn't matter which one of you wins.
Oh, okay. All right, that
Seattle's
concludes
gonna
our
lose
picks.
anyway, so it don't-
Here's the deal. Top of the hour news is next. When we come back from the top of the hour news, we have a very special surprise. We have a couple interesting topics, including a 2-year-old who underwent weight loss surgery. No lie.
What?
Yes, it's true. And I'm going to discuss a very interesting debate on my Facebook page, which seems to feed me a lot of fodder for the last hour, about a picture I put of a homeless guy on my Facebook page and the fight that ensued.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true because I'm K-Dog, and I live to piss people
I
off.
thought you was going to be talking about the earlier fight earlier in the week when you had a post that was on a certain person's page and you was told that you would anyway, no mind.
Nah. All right. We'll take the break. When we come back, it's the last call. St. Paul, the voice of reason.
K-Dog, the loose cannon.
Trojo, the color commentator. The break is next. No top of the hour news. We don't need no top of the hour news. Last call's
no
next.
Sticky news.
And then K-Log blows a gasket because I've been holding it all day. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Barbara Klein. Kenya's military officials say most of the people trapped since yesterday inside Nairobi's Westgate shopping mall have been freed. The Somali extremist group Al-Shabaab is claiming responsibility for the attack that has claimed at least 68 lives, according to Kenya's Red Cross. The BBC's Mike Wooldridge is in Nairobi, where today Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta gave a public statement.
I think it was clear that President went to great lengths to stress that Kenya was, as he put it, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, multicultural society, and that the Al-Shabaab militants wouldn't succeed if their aim was to give the opposite impression and to divide this society further. He also said, again very firmly, that this wouldn't lead his government, to pull Kenyan troops out of Somalia, because, of course, that was the justification used by Al-Shabaab for carrying out this attack. They said it was a retaliation for Kenya sending its troops into Somalia.
That's the BBC's Mike Wooldridge reporting from Nairobi. Meanwhile, the State Department says it's reviewing a list ostensibly released by Al-Shabaab that names 9 attackers. 3 of them included are identified as being from the U.S. President Obama is renewing his call for new steps to prevent gun violence, but he says any movement will have to begin outside Washington. NPR's Scott Horsley reports the president made the appeal today at a memorial service for the victims of last week's massacre at the Washington Navy Yard.
President Obama says if America really wants to honor the 12 people who were killed at the Navy Yard last week, it will have to confront what he calls an epidemic of gun violence. Obama made similar comments after earlier massacres in Colorado and Connecticut. While his push for gun safety legislation stalled in the Senate, Obama says Americans should not resign themselves to a future of routine gun violence.
By now, though, it should be clear that the change we need will not come from Washington, even when tragedy strikes Washington. Change will come the only way it ever has come, and that's from the American people.
Obama says the country also needs better mental health care, and he's ordered a review of security at military bases. Scott Horsley, NPR News, Washington.
The U.S. Navy says it's rescued 3 crew members who were aboard a Nighthawk helicopter that crashed in the Red Sea early today. Search efforts continue for 2 others. The Navy says no hostile activity was involved in the incident, and an investigation is underway. In Iraq, another suicide bombing of mourners at a funeral today has targeted a gathering in a mostly Sunni district of Baghdad, killing at least 16 people. Yesterday, suicide bombers